It's real. And we have it. And we're going to show it to you tonight. This is very real, guys. You don't believe it? There's Ralph.
Hey,
this is real.
Here I am. How's everyone going? How's everybody doing? I'm Retro Ralph. So check it out. We are here today with the MVSX. So we're going to go through a couple quick ground rules before we get started. The one ground rule that I know you guys aren't going to like is that we've been instructed by the manufacturer that we cannot open it. I'm sorry, but we can't open it, okay? So that's the one stipulation. The other thing is we can't show the retail packaging because they're actually going to change it. So the retail packaging that got sent in is not going to be the actual end of the day retail packaging, so we're not going to have that. The other thing is this unit is the production hardware, so I want you guys to know that. But on the Marquee itself, they actually made a couple of artwork problems. Like there's a couple of artwork problems that will get changed in the production run. So everything else about this is going to be exactly how you would get it, except for the Marquee where they actually made an incorrect little artwork thing there for King of Fighters 98. So yeah, everything here is legit. It's I took it out of the box. It's pretty exciting, and we're gonna literally go over the whole thing with a fine-tooth comb. And yeah, I mean, the only other thing I'll say, Justin, is that there is a little bit of a disclaimer here where, this video is our opinion. We're not actually keeping this unit. We weren't paid anything to do this review. This unit is actually going to be a traveling unit, which will go over to other content creators after we're done with it. So we'll make sure to put our stamp on it somehow, so the next person that gets it knows that we had it first.
Yeah, why don't you give us a close-up again on that Marquee, Ralph?
Yeah, sure. So if you switch over to my
check
camera,
this out.
you'll
So
see.
some people may be wondering, what is the MVSX? So this is actually a 3/4 scale arcade that is sold as a bar top for about $450. But also it comes with a riser that puts it, it's like a stand that puts it at that arcade 1-up height with their riser. It includes exactly 50 SNK games, and there's more information about this on their official website. We'll have links in the description, of course. So like Ralph was talking about, we're going to break it down. We're hoping to have at least about 1 hour of content here tonight. I'm going to give you a rundown of what we're going to do, just high level. So we're going to take a look at the aesthetics. We'll be looking at the controls. We'll do a UI overview. We'll do the game overview, and there's a lot of in-game options. We'll be talking about the sound. We'll be talking about the monitor. We'll be talking about aspect ratio. I see we have a new, thank you so much for joining us. I've seen you've been chatting a lot, the Neo CRV ERA. We reviewed some of your comments, and they are in our outline. We plan on answering as many of those as we possibly can. And just a clue, I'm just going to say one thing. The big question you have, the answer is yes. So we're going to move forward, though. Ralph, so
I need to get back into position, Justin. I need to get in front of this thing really quick before we get started. So let me just move myself here, because we tried some wireless systems and we just weren't liking the way it was turning out. So we decided to switch it up last minute. So I'm going to have to be in front of the unit, so you won't see me, but you will see the arcade.
Right. So with those ground rules of what we plan on doing tonight, I'm going to mention that right now we're going to do looks and aesthetics. And so if you have any comments related to that, we're going to try to keep on topic here.
Yeah, so I think we're going to start with side art, right?
Yeah, that's right. So look at aesthetics. If you have any questions about that, that's the topic we're currently covering. So it's kind of difficult. Some of the camera angles that we have, because of the lighting, I think, for example, if you look at the Marquee at the top, it kind of looks like the Marquee is washed out. And a lot of people on YouTube have this is kind of a common thing.
It looks beautiful, Justin. It looks really, really good. They did a good job with the Marquee. It looks very good. It's tough sometimes to capture Marquees on camera, but this one looks really good.
Right. So why don't you take us through we're going to do the side arc,
so on the side art, yeah, there's a couple things that you'll notice right away. So you'll notice that this is something that a lot of people had talked about. There's these little, on the side, not only is there the side art, but a lot of the other 3/4 scale offerings out on the marketplace will actually show the screws. And it actually does kind of take away from the overall finished look of it. They've put these little caps on there, which are really cool, so that it kind of covers those sections so you don't see the screws. I think that's a nice compliment, and it gives it a more polished, professional look to it. So then also, when you're looking at the side art here, you've got the MVSX logo. Obviously, there was no MVSX. This is a brand new offering. That's the name they gave to this. And you see the SNK logo. You see the traditional NeoGeo logo. and then NeoGeo logo, and then Unico. And then you do see someone had questioned, a lot of people had questioned this for a long time. Like, is this a legitimate product? It's SNK Corporation, all rights limited. It is backed by SNK, which is great. So I like the side art. It is very reminiscent of the actual Neo Geo MVS cabinet. So I think they did a good job with this. I mean, obviously Unico wasn't involved in the original MVS cabinet, but I think from a side art perspective, they did a really good job. The only other thing I'll mention is you're not really going to see it as much here. I'm going to tilt the arcade a tiny bit. So you'll see there is edge molding on it. This edge molding is just black edge molding. It's just like you would see on an arcade 1-up. This is something that they do on arcade 1-ups. Most of these other arcades have this. There are a couple arcades out there that have like a simulated T-molding. This doesn't. It's just like sort of this molding tape, but I think it looks pretty nice. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we were going to go from Marquee. I think we were going to go from there to the Marquee, right?
Yeah, let's take a look at the Marquee. The very common question that we have is, can you take it apart and swap out the different game arts? Is that something that is possible?
I know that question came up a lot, and actually, there's guys like Joe Sabo already trying to figure out how they can get into the mix and work on things. There is no real easy way to get to the Marquee from here, but we're not allowed to take it apart, so it does seem like
Marquee all one piece then.
Yeah, this is all one piece. It's a piece of acrylic that it was printed on. So I can, if you want to switch over to that other camera really quick, I can do one quick, just because you won't really see it washed out as much. I'm sorry if you get a little bit of reflection from the lights, but you won't see it washed out as much here. That's exactly what it looks like to me here. This camera is a little bit more forgiving with the lighting. So
once you talk more about the King of Fighters 98, what's wrong with that Marquee art?
I believe that's the PlayStation. It's like a console version of the artwork. It's not the actual arcade artwork, so they're going to go ahead and fix that. So that'll be fixed in the production run.
Right.
Yeah, so there you go. That's the Marquee.
So let's go down. Good. Let's take a look at that. So to answer some of your questions, it looks like if you look at it, it's not built so that you can swap out the different cards, but
no, it's not.
Someone like there's a good friend of ours that runs a shop called Sabo, and he's got to be doing something with this. He's done.
He's already started working on it, I think.
Is that right? Yeah, I'm hoping that he comes out with something you just buy, and there's a whole bunch of games, and you can kind of pick and choose whenever you want and slide it in. But I think that's going to be an aftermarket thing.
Yeah, we were kind of thinking it'd be cool if there were pockets and you could actually put in the different games. Like let's say let's say you favored some of the Metal Slugs, you could put those Metal Slug lineups in here or something like that. So we'll see.
Could you go power it off real quick and show everyone that this is a lit Marquee?
Yeah. If you give me 1 second, take the camera off me, and then I'll do that really fast.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for all your questions here. I'm trying to keep up with them, and we can kind of instruct Ralph as we go. Again, we're going to try to stay on topic. Our next one is going into the control panel itself, and I think Ralph, I'm gonna click it back onto you because you have the.
Yeah. So right now it's powered off.
That's right. Go ahead and turn that back on. Let's see it light up.
There, you can see it light up now, and then you'll also see the boot screen, which just gives us this MVSX boot screen. We're going to get into that in a little bit. We're spending some time on aesthetics, and then we'll dive into that.
All right, let's take a look at that control panel.
Yeah, so unfortunately, I was going to go pull my Neo Geo MVS control panel, or my Neo Geo MVS control panel from a real arcade out of my storage, but I didn't have time. So the one thing that's really cool about this control panel, so it was covered with like an acrylic, not acrylic, but like a protective coating.
Right.
And I pulled the protective coating out, and this is almost like a reverse printed piece of artwork. So some people had said, oh my gosh, if this is the raw artwork, when we're going to put our hands on it, it's going to be oily, and the artwork's going to wear off. It's reverse printed. You can't really wear it off. The artwork isn't on the top layer. So it looks really, really nice. You can see they did a really good job, trying to follow somewhat of what the original would have looked like. Obviously the original didn't have 6 buttons. The original had 3 buttons. So there's a little bit, 4 buttons. The original would have only had a red, a yellow, a green, and a blue, and they would have been slightly different, right? The red would have been off to the side. But anyways, they gave it like a nice 6-button, almost Japanese style layout. So it's not going to be 100% how you remember it, but I think they did a good job. The other thing that's kind of interesting that they did is they put the indicator lights here. So if you remember, this was your credit indicator from from a real Neo Geo. And these don't actually function. They just kind of like randomly have numbers on them. It's just kind of more from an aesthetic purpose. I did mention that to them. I haven't heard back from them today, so I'm not sure if that's something they're going to try to do. Justin, you and I were talking about that. I feel like that
Yeah,
would be really difficult for them to actually make that truly do a credit
yeah.
because of how they would have to work. But
I'm gonna switch cameras on you. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So if you think about this is a single board PCB and it's running emulation, and then as you pick through the UI, it loads different games, and so that single board is likely communicating back to also the little LED numbers. But every game, a credit is something that lives inside the game. That's a state that lives in the game. So it might actually be complicated to make it where all 50 games send back information to the little screen to tell you how many credits there are. You could like button map it, like like basically T-tap and listen to as you press the credit buttons, and it could increment. But once you leave a game, how would it know how to clear it? But anyway, maybe they will figure out a way. I mean, they're customizing system, and it does have USB, so firmware updates are a possibility. So it's probably not really needed because if they removed it, right? If they removed, then you would kind of have a missing piece, that was on the original that you don't have in this recreation. So I'm glad that they included it, but it understands that it's not really functional.
yeah, exactly. So we're gonna move on a little bit. There was something that on the control panel that a lot of people have been wondering what it does. I'll actually zoom in with the other camera really quick so you can kind of see what it is. But if you switch over to that other camera, Justin, this is actually a volume control knob. So this is actually where you'd control the volume up and down.
Hmm.
So that's all this is. We'll get to that when we get to the gameplay and stuff like that. But it's kind of nice that they added this. It gives you a little bit of granular control of it. And then if you missed it in the beginning, the speakers are in the front. They're really small speakers. We'll get to that too.
Hmm.
If I had any critique area, it'd probably be the speakers, to be honest. And we'll go through a little bit of that because I have a couple little things I think they could potentially change. And I think unless anyone else has questions on the aesthetics of it, I think we're ready to move into the control panel, buttons and joysticks and all that kind of stuff. What do you
Yeah,
think?
yeah. So let's take a look at the buttons. And I apologize. There's super chats that are coming in, but we just got to stay on point. And we really appreciate the donations, and we'll try to get back to them later. So anyway, with the buttons, everyone wants to know how do they. This is kind of hard to show in video, but Ralph, how does it feel?
Yeah, so the buttons are definitely like a higher quality Sanwa clone button. So I mean, they feel pretty good. They feel decent. Sorry, I have the game. It's on, so it's going to launch something because I just went and selected something. But they don't feel bad. They feel pretty good. They're not clicky buttons. They're kind of
Hmm.
like those Sanwa micro switches where you don't really hear a click. However, the joystick you do. The joystick's very clicky. On the joystick, it feels to me. It's hard for me to tell 100%, but it feels to me like this is a circular gate and not a square gate. That's what it feels
Mm.
like, at least. It feels like a circular gate. The overall joystick quality, I'd say, is like a Sanwa clone. Like basically, maybe a tiny bit better than what we have on the one-ups. It feels like maybe more the modern one-ups where they're using better Sanwa clones. That's what it feels like to me. And the bat top, screws on and screws off just like anything else. I think these feel to me. I know it's tough to like kind of tell exactly, but they feel to me like the brand. These buttons feel like the brand that they put on the At Games Legends Ultimate, which I actually really
Hmm.
like. I think they put good quality, Sanwa clone stuff on the Legends Ultimate, so it feels like it's the same as the Legends Ultimate to me as far as the buttons go. If I had any like, that I'm an arcade guy and I get picky about
Hmm.
stuff. I was playing with this for a while and I thought it played really well, but it's always an upgrade opportunity on these 3/4 scale cabinets to maybe put different joysticks on if you want it, like an IL or a HAP or something like that. But these are going to be great and get the job done. And they feel pretty good. They don't feel like junk or anything like that. They feel like a better Sanwa clone, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good thing to point out. So if you're planning on picking it up, it is $450 just for the bar top section of it, right? And you're going to pay $50 more if you want that stand. So you're looking about $500, but it seems to be right around on par with what you can expect from an arcade one up when it comes to controls, where there is a room for improvement, right? You could always Hey Ralph, why don't you switch to the zoom in because our next section is to look at the UI. So I'll go ahead and give some recap
Yeah.
explanation while you switch to that. So we've been reviewing this for all day, and so what I can tell you about basically, talking to Ralph is so you got these buttons that are pretty good. They're more like the At Games Legends Ultimate buttons, which are pretty good quality, and then it's got like the sticks could be better. So for the average person that's buying it, maybe it's going to be good enough. But if you're like a huge original arcade fan and you want it, you don't have the space for an original Neo Geo MVS, maybe you would end up buying this. Maybe you would upgrade the sticks. So there's room for that improvement. And so if you're just joining us, yeah, we're going through all the different things about the Neo Geo MVSX. We've covered the looks and aesthetics. We've covered the controls, and if you have extra questions, we're going to get to them. We're about to jump into the UI overview, and this is an impressive section, I will have to say. Little spoiler alert. We've been covering Arcade 1-Up and At Games for a long time, and I think they've done some really, really cool things. This company Unico, who's working to build these different UIs for the different system, it may be one of the best UIs, and I don't know if I'm in a good position to say that. I do develop UIs for a living. I'm not a designer, but I do integrations of them, and I've done a lot of implementations of UIs that aren't that great, and then I've done some that are awesome. So I kind of have an eye for it. We'll try to break it down and give you a reason why we think the UI is better than average. And I think looks like Ralph is getting it all lined up here. I'm going to jump to you, Ralph. It's starting to look pretty good. You got that focus in?
I'm not 100% ready yet, but if you put it up, I can probably just make some minor adjustments to it, and we can get it going. So
that's right. So we're
gonna
jump into the UI overview now.
This so hopefully section that looks pretty good to everybody. I'm gonna see if it needs any adjustments. Justin, let me know, and I can adjust it slightly. But I think that's as good as I can get it right now. Hopefully that's okay.
I think this will be good to cover. So, could you jump into the game selection? Kind of walk everyone through. When you first boot up, this is the screen. Some of you have seen this on the website, but you haven't seen it in action. So we're going to try to take you through all those different features.
Yeah, so when you get into the game selection screen here, you're going to have 50 of 50 Neo Geo MVS games, right? So basically when you scroll over, you're going to see two things. You're going to see the box art for the game that you're on, but you're also going to see the collection. So if you guys remember on the website, it would say things like your King of Fighters collection. So you've got all your King of Fighters games, and the way this UI looks is really slick. Like I love the way that it kind of changes the box art as you move through that category.
Yeah, for home arcade, I think this is the first time we've ever seen real animation on a menu system that's built specifically for home arcade. At Games doesn't have any animations. Arcade 1-Up doesn't have any animations. Some people might think Arcade 1-Up has animations on their newest generation because you hear that swoosh sound, but if you actually look at the screen, it's just snapping to the new artwork. The fact that they have... And then the extra piece, if you guys notice, right now he's on the King of Fighters section. Go ahead and move to the next one. You can see how it goes to the jumps to the whole new collection. So they are grouped together, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, so here you'll go through and it'll show you all the Metal Slugs, and again, down below you'll see it says, whatever collection you're on. So there's been stipulations that maybe they're going to have other collections or things like that. We don't really know. There's no true confirmation of that, so I don't want to say that one way or the other, but yeah, it's got a really great selection of games. So you've got your King of Fighters, then you've got your Metal Slugs, then you've got Samurai Showdown, and you'll see I'm just going to scroll through them all so you guys can see them really quick, and then we'll jump from here to some of the settings, because there's some really cool settings that this thing has that I haven't seen in any of these 3/4 scale arcades yet, so it's pretty cool. So here you've got your classics collection. So your classics have games like The Last Blade, The Last Blade 2. You've got Sengoku 1, 2, and 3, which I love those games if you've never played those before. Shock Troopers, sort of a vertical shoot 'em up, which is pretty cool, or more of a vertical beat 'em up shooter. It's pretty cool if you've never played it before. Then Magician Lord, a lot of people like that game. That game is included here, side scroller. Then you've got some sports. There's a couple games absent here, but in a first run like this, they try to put as many of them as they can, but sometimes you don't hit on all of them. But you got Super Sidekicks, Top Player Golf, 3 Count Bout, Baseball Stars Professional, Football Frenzy. Then when you go out of the sports collection, it brings you to the Fatal Fury collection. You've got a plenty of Fatal Furies here. I think there's 7 of them here. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of them here. So you go through all the Fatal Furies, and then after the Fatal Furies, you get World Heroes and Art of Fighting collection, and then that's it. You get to the end of the line. But the notables here for me and Justin, the one thing we forgot to get the back where the USB is, and we'll do that after. But the notables here for me is I feel like they did a really good job with the game selections. 50 great games. Especially if you're big into the Neo Geo fighting games, they definitely didn't rob you on the fighting games. So I think they did a really good job on just how they presented this. It looks good, and it's not really an interface we've seen before on these 3/4 scale arcades. It's super clean to me, super modern looking, and I love that. I think they did a good job. Yep.
Key to a lot of these UIs is make it super simple. So let's move on to settings. Right at the very top, you got a little cog wheel. Why don't you click on that? Let's take a look.
Yeah, so the cog's pretty interesting. So you got a bunch of different things you can do here. There's I believe it's 10 different languages. So obviously, they got you definitely covered when it comes to the different languages. Game mode is pretty cool. So for those of you that are maybe newer to Neo Geo, by the way, Justin, is the camera in focus enough for everybody? I just want to make sure you can read it.
Give us a 1 if you can read it. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to make sure because I move the camera around quite a bit. Okay, so the game mode, you've got MVS mode and AES mode. MVS is going to be like your traditional arcade mode, so it's going to accept credits, so you can play forever, right? I can keep inserting coins if I want, or fake coins or credits, and I can play forever. AES mode is going to be more like the console. So the AES was a Neo Geo console that a lot of people didn't have because it was super, super expensive. It was also basically one-for-one versions of these games. They were exactly the same for all intents and purposes. However, they were more difficult because they weren't credits-based. It worked more like a console. So you have to keep that in mind. If you wanted like a little bit more of a challenge, you may put it in AES mode versus
Why don't you play with that
MVS
focus
mode.
just a little bit while you're talking? We're getting there. Yeah. There we go. That's pretty good.
Okay. So then if we go back out are we cool on that? I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
I think it's pretty good. While we jump into the game mode, there's one thing, a little gripe that we had is once you jump into the game mode, it's kind of weird naming once we come in here. Game mode and game image just doesn't seem to be very intuitive words. So maybe
game image
they
needs to be probably changed to something else.
Yeah, but if you probably look at it and go, what is that? But go ahead, let's check out game mode.
Yeah, so game mode we did just check out. So game image is actually, these are different screen sort of filters and resolution options that you have. So it's not obvious. Game image doesn't really make sense. It probably should say something like resolution or
aspect ratio, maybe.
Yeah, something a bit different. But one of the things that people had complained about is are these games going to be represented with the monitor that's used in this? Are they going to be represented the right way? So the first option you have is it should be called pixel perfect, but it's called pixel scaling. And so this is a mode where it will represent the game in the original aspect ratio exactly how it's supposed to look. Justin can talk a little bit more about it, but we measured the screen. I can kind of show you really quick, but we measured the screen to make sure that this was living up to its expectations. Yeah. We can play with this once we're in game. So what you're doing right now, these are global settings. So if you said, I want it to be pixel perfect on every game I choose, if you do it here in the main settings menu, that will adhere to every game within the system. But the cool thing about this system is you can actually go and change these options for other games individually. So this will be a global option, but if you wanted and said, oh, you know what, I'd really like to do scan lines for Metal Slug, you can go ahead and do that, but all the other games will still show up without scan lines because the global setting says pixel scaling. So it's pretty cool.
That's right. So those 6 different features, you get this is what they should be called. So the top one should be pixel perfect, then pixel perfect with scan lines. Then the third option is basically they call it smooth scaling, but it makes it stretch, but it adds the smoothing effect. You've probably seen this on other Neo Geo emulations. It just kind of has like a little smudgy look to it, and some people favor that, some people don't. Then the H scanning is basically that smooth scaling, but with scan lines. And then vertical or V scanning is that smooth scaling but with scan lines vertically.
And we'll play with all of them so you guys can see them. But this one's interesting because I don't know why you would use vertical scan lines because they
Hmm.
didn't include any of the. There's some really great shmups on Neo Geo. They didn't include any games that would require vertical scan lines. I guess you could argue that. Shoot, I can't think of the name of the game right now. Of course, it's escaping me. But Shock Troopers. Shock Troopers scrolls up, so I guess you could like maybe use vertical scan lines for that. But this one's weird. I almost feel like this is maybe here for some sort of future expansion because it doesn't really make sense. And then this 40-degree scan lines it's like the scan lines are going this way. I
Hmm.
don't really know what you'd use that for. It might be maybe someone that's like hardcore Neo Geo would understand why you'd want a 40-degree scan line, but I have no idea. I don't know what application you'd use for that.
That's right. So later we'll go through and we're going to take a look at the basically did they get the aspect ratio right? Did they do it wrong? We'll come back to that later. We're going to show you the math behind it, but I think we need to move on
Yeah, because I know
to.
you guys want to get to the games eventually here. So the other things is system update. So there's options to update the system. It's on version 1. So this is, we've been told by them that that this is a means to upgrade the system. So they do have that USB port on the back. You could put it in a USB thumb drive or whatever, and you could potentially upgrade the system.
And it
So
kind of
that
looks
is,
similar to other systems that were out there with that system update, hint, hint, right?
yeah, maybe,
Yeah.
maybe like the Arcade Stick Pro. I don't know.
Yeah,
So
a little bit.
yeah, maybe we could do something fun with it like the Arcade Stick Pro. Factory reset's important, so if you do this, it will wipe out a couple things. So if you do factory reset, it'll wipe out. There's some cool things that we didn't even talk about yet. This system has save states, so it'll
Yeah.
wipe out your save states. We'll talk about that and we'll test it out for you guys. It will wipe out your custom button layouts. That's another feature we haven't even discussed yet. That's really freaking cool because you can
Hmm.
actually configure the way you want your buttons. And
Yep.
then any of your resolution settings, which they're calling game image here, any of those resolution settings, if those are custom, those get wiped out too. So if you just know if you play with the factory reset, you have a bunch of save states, like you're going to lose those save states. At least in the current version of the firmware, you're going to lose the save states.
That's right. And we'll turn around the unit later, but yes, there is a USB port on the back, and that's how you can do those system updates, which is good because if they have any menu updates or maybe they got some emulation wrong, or there's upgrade packages that come or whatnot, that's how you do it. You plug it into USB and then go to the system and say update via USB.
Yeah, so I was gonna try to give it a go and play like just show you guys some basic gameplay, and then what we'll do is while we're playing the games, we'll play with those scalers so you guys can see what those look like.
Hmm.
I'm gonna pick a game that everyone will know, so I'm gonna go to Metal Slug.
Hmm.
I guess we could go to the poll and see is there anyone that wants a certain Metal Slug game? Like, is there one that they favor over the others? I'll do that really quick. So maybe we could just poll the audience and see if they
Yeah.
want a specific Metal Slug game, and then we'll kind of do that. So I'm gonna actually reset up stuff for a second so I can actually play it, and then we'll wait for people to see what they want to play.
Yeah, so we got a question about what the extra buttons are for. I think we figured it out. So we'll get to that in just a little bit as we go through some of the gameplay and the different options that. So like we talked about before, when you go into the main setting, you have that setting, that cog at the top. That's a system level settings. But when you enter the game,
I'm literally
there's
stuck.
there's game specific settings. And so there's actually a lot more when you go into the game specific setting, and that answers at least one of the questions of what would you do with the two extra buttons.
Okay, I'm gonna have to just improvise. Hopefully, I didn't mess that up too much. It's just I'm kind of hovering over a camera as I'm trying to play a game, so it's not that easy to do. But just so you know, I'm doing a full review on this, which I'm gonna stay up till wicked late at night to do
That's
tonight
right.
for you guys.
I think
What's the
Metal
consensus
Slug
on what Metal Slug?
4
4?
seemed
That's one of my favorites too. So
seemed to be.
yeah, well, don't give me too much of a hard time because I'm playing it literally as like hovering over it, like I'm trying to straddle the thing. So all right, we'll put the volume up a little bit here, and we'll
Yeah.
put some coins in. There's a select game button. Like I said, those indicators don't do anything. So those indicators that are there,
Hmm.
they don't show you credits. It just shows random stuff. But it's kind of cool. It just shows you random numbers.
So what mode are we in right now? This is the pixel perfect mode.
This is the pixel perfect mode. So you're going to notice that. Can you see there that you're not
It's hard to tell, but I'll let everyone know. So by default, you're in pixel perfect mode. There you can kind of see it. If you look at Ralph's handprint all the way to the left, that's that's on the black bezel. And then between the bezel, you'll see a little bit of black. And that's so you can see there's a little bit of black border. I was running through the math, and this is very much on purpose and very much ideal, in fact. One of the examples you can give is, let's imagine you had a game that had a perfect circle on it. And the original game from 20, 30 years ago, the game developer wanted to draw a perfect circle. But now the modern displays, the LCDs, are not the same aspect ratio. So this monitor that you're looking at is not 4:3. It's actually 5:4. 5:4 is a much more common aspect ratio for modern LCDs. They're easier to find. Now, Arcade 1-Up did have many units that are 4:3. But one of the ways to do it right is basically you take the original aspect ratio of the original games and you do simple math. So the majority of the NeoGeo games were very small resolution. The system itself at max supported 324 by 224. So we're talking really tiny, right? So you have to integer scale it up to get it bigger. But most of the games actually only did 304 by 224. So if you do the math, it's not 4:3 and it's not 5:4. And so earlier we did a measurement, and the measurement was perfect. Basically, this pixel perfect is pixel perfect. The actual aspect ratio.
I am running it with scan lines now, Justin. So
okay, very cool. So just like other systems, why don't you talk about the scan lines and kind of the upside and the downside?
Yeah, you know what I'm going to try to do, Justin? I'm going to try to, if you want to give me the portable cam, I'm going to try to see if I can capture the scan lines a bit better. It's tough whenever, guys, this system doesn't have HDMI out, so it's really hard when you're trying to capture the screen this way. So I'm going to try to see if I can maybe show you guys the scan lines that way.
Let's do it.
So if you want to get me on that other camera, I can see if I can get in a little bit closer.
Yeah.
Can you kind of see the? I know you're getting a little bit of.
See it. Can you guys see the scan lines? Sometimes you can. Maybe do it at an angle. There it is. I can kind of see the scan lines now while it's at an angle.
Yeah, so you can shut off this camera now, but yeah, the scan lines look good. Now, my only comment about scan lines is that when you use scan lines, it's going to darken the image a little bit. So that's kind of the par for the course for any of these software emulators that do scan lines. You'll notice that it darkens the image slightly. Now, you think about it, right? You're going to have a line in between the graphic line that actually is black. So it kind of makes sense that the image would be darker a bit. Yeah. But it's just something to keep in mind. If you've ever played with a scan line feature of any of these things before, it's a pretty common thing, but I thought I'd mention it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then why don't you, do you want to show some of the other in-game options?
Yeah, let's do that really quick. So, all right. So when you go to the, when you're, I'm not really playing the game right now. Hold on. Let me get back to the game here really quick. I don't know what's going on with that. It's got like some weird menu. I don't know what that's doing. All right, let's go back to, haven't seen that yet, and we've been playing with it all day. Okay,
Are we in MVS mode or AES?
Shoot, I don't remember.
Let's go.
I think we're in. Yeah, we're in MVS because we can accept credits right now.
There we go. Yep.
So right now, if I go to the options menu, I can go and dynamically change a couple things.
Yeah,
so I can obviously, cool. I'm going to change it to smooth scaling. So for those of you that don't care about, maintaining the original aspect ratio or any of that stuff, if you go to smooth scaling, you're going to take up the whole entire screen. So if you look now, your image is. Oops, that didn't do that actually. Hold on, did I not select it? I thought I did. Give me 1 second. All right, we're going to select smooth scaling. Oh, because I think this part of the menu, it doesn't actually go all the way. Let me see. I think it's when you start. Sorry, I'm getting button happy here. Yeah, so if you look, it fills the whole screen at this point. It's just in the beginning menu. But Now the game you'll see, what's really cool about a lot of Neo Geo games is they would show you what buttons you press for what options when you're playing the game, right? So that's pretty cool. But let's say you didn't want the A function to be what it is, right? Like I think it's shoot, right? Maybe you don't like that.
Right.
You can go to options and you can go to, I thought this was interesting. This is probably one of those room for improvement kind of things. This menu doesn't tell you a whole lot, but what this really means, am I getting too much glare, Justin? I feel like I can't.
A little bit.
Can you, all right, hold on.
Yeah, so I'll explain while you're adjusting the lights. So what you're seeing is two different images, and it's basically saying, maybe they did this so they don't have to do language translations for the 10 different languages, but the top picture is saying, change the button mapping for player 1. And then the image below is change button mapping for image 2. And we had some questions. When you're in AES mode, like the console mode, there are a couple different options. But while you're in the NVS, it doesn't look like there's any dip switch options or anything like that. So I don't think you can't change. We didn't find anything in here where you can change the difficulty of the actual arcade MVS games.
Yeah, no, there's no way to change when you're looking at MVS games, there's no way to change the options of the MVS game. So that is an option. When you're in AES, you can change difficulty and things like that. So again, if you want to sort of brush up on your skills on a game, you could go jump over to AES mode, sort of play with that a bit. Because obviously, when you're in MVS mode, you can just it's going to be the standard dip switch setting probably. So whatever that was is probably what they used. Although I don't have confirmation of that, but I'm assuming. So here, basically, what this menu is saying is if you want to adjust the controls for the left player, so for player 1, you would hit this. It's not very obvious. I mean, they're trying to color code it, but it should say something. Maybe they could add a little bit of verbiage there. But if you hit it, it just says, what do you want button A to be? So if I preferred button A to be, B, C, and then D, you can use these white buttons. So I know that's goofy. You might not do that, but it might not feel bad to people. So maybe that I don't think that's the initial intention of it, but you can use the white buttons as mapping. So if you wanted to map the white buttons, you can. So when I save this, it's going to be slightly different than the default settings. But the cool thing about it is it's only going to apply to this game.
Right.
So any of the other games I'm playing, it won't apply to them. I think that's really neat because I might want to have game-specific controls. I think that's actually pretty awesome.
Why don't you get into the game? Now that you're in the game, we had a question like, what happens if you press the start and select at the same time while you're in the game? Does that open up any menus or anything?
I don't know. I haven't tried that yet. It does not.
Okay. Well, you want to?
So right now we're playing this in this is in the stretched mode, so it's stretching it out, but it also is applying. If you guys have ever played with like a Pandora's box or something like that before, it has this like notion of a smoothing filter.
Right.
So that's what you're seeing here. It kind of gives it like a stylistic modern look. A lot of people don't like this, but it's kind of cool. It just depends if it's something you like, but it does stretch the image. So you're seeing it's being stretched vertically and horizontally to fit the whole screen. So I just wanted to kind of bring that up to you guys. As far as like responsiveness of the game, as far as lag or delay or anything, I'm not feeling that at all, but I haven't tested all 50 games, but I mean, the ones that I have played have felt really, like the emulation has felt pretty solid.
Yep.
So I'm going to exit out of here. I'm going to try a different game just so that you guys can kind of see different games. I'm going to do like Samurai Showdown so you guys can see a fighting game. And then we'll play around a little bit more with it. So, I mean, how's everyone feeling so far? Are they enjoying the system? Is it something that, they're finding interesting? The overall build quality, like I said, is really good. Artwork-wise, I think it looks nice. They give you a lot of options to customize it that we haven't seen a lot, especially in the, in the arcade one-up world. The buttons are what they are, right? There's no, like, changing the buttons around. If you want to change them around, like, tough, right? There isn't an option. It's fixed.
Right. Right. The fact that they can add the button mapping, it's pretty good. It's pretty decent option. Yeah, give us a 1 what you're thinking about the unit so far. If you like it, very simple. Give us a 0 if you think this is the dumbest thing you've ever seen. We'd love to hear your opinion on it. We have a couple more things that we're going to be going through as we go through gameplay. I'll kind of give you an overview.
Keep in mind, I am not a Samurai Showdown guy, so I'm just going to button mash my way through it.
So one question is the monitor. Is one of the So we've covered the aspect ratio side of things, and I think it's great. I think I'm a little hot on the mic. I'm sorry. Um, the fact that by default you're doing pixel perfect, so if you hate the black lines, whatever, you can just stretch it, but don't, because you're stupid if you do. But that's just my preference.
Wow. It's pretty
I'm
bold.
just saying it how it is. If you're actually, I don't know. To be honest, like if you're stretching it, you're probably also the same person that liked Pan and Scan back in the '90s. But whatever. So, what about the monitor itself? Because remember the original Gen 1. I'm always curious if SNK and Unico makes the same mistake that Arcade 1-Up made in the first generation, kind of giving us lower quality parts. Definitely by comparison, their third generation, fourth generation now of units have way better monitor, way better hardware. What do you think
So I'll
about
tell
the
you, I'll give
monitor
you a
when it
little
comes
bit
to like brightness?
Yeah, I'll give you a little bit of like really true unfiltered feedback on the monitor. So it's going to be really hard to capture on screen. I could try, but if you're looking dead on, like if I'm not standing playing it, it is definitely less bright. So if I'm playing it as a bar top, it's less bright. Now,
why don't you go to pixel perfect mode so we can remove all anything that might be interfering with the quality. Okay, we're gonna go to pixel scaling.
Yep, you're gonna see the image come in a bit more.
Yeah.
So all right, so I'm gonna try to do it with the handheld camera. So it's a webcam, but I'm gonna try to show you because what you're gonna notice, I'm just gonna get into the game, and I'm not gonna be playing it. I just want to start it so you guys can kind of see it when it's in game. It's gonna be a lot more colorful. It's gonna be easier for you guys to see. This is a great game. Sengoku 3 is a very awesome game if you've never played it before. Okay, so Justin, just for a moment, if you go to the handheld camera, I'm going to try to capture this. I don't know if it's going to. So this is your dead-on view, and I'm apologize if there's a little bit of reflection, but that's your dead-on view. If I bring it a bit up, it gets more vibrant and more colorful. I don't know if you're going to pick that up at all on the camera. This webcam may make it look exactly the same, but if I'm looking at it in this position, it's darker. If I bring it up like this, I doubt it's going to capture it, but if I'm in the position where this thing was on a pedestal, it's I don't want to say significantly brighter, but I like it better. Like I feel like it's more vibrant and it looks better. Now, the one thing I'll say is when you do off to the side, no difference. So if I'm in, I'm going to back up really quick. If I'm forward like this, it's darker, right? If I go to the side, it's darker still, but the image doesn't get washed out. If I go to the other side, I excuse the camera moving around, but if I go to the other side, same thing. The image doesn't get washed out. So if I'm at that same bar top level, it's consistent across this plane.
Right.
However, if I go up, same thing. It's consistently brighter. Sorry, that's the webcam, but if it's consistently brighter, but it doesn't get washed out right to left. So that's pretty important because that can suck.
Do you have any arcade 1-Ups next to you? That are
they don't. They're all.
All right,
no,
so
I don't have any.
I can kind of explain it. The good news is
you can take this camera off. By the way,
if you're familiar with arcade 1-Ups like Galaga or Pac-Man, those are vertical cabinets. It has a vertical screen.
Or you could just like totally not listen to me.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Could you take this
Switch?
camera off, please?
Yeah. I'm getting tired of holding this thing. So anyway, I kept on asking him a million times, if you do it from a weird viewing angle, does it get ghosty? And he said no. And, yesterday we were FaceTiming all day, and he was trying to show it to me. I could see that if we look down at an angle, which is technically the angle you would probably want to be looking at, like you're standing up, you got the stand, and you're
Justin,
looking...
I did want to tell you, this stand I have this on is only a ½ inch different than if it was on their riser. And it looks amazing standing up playing it. Like the best view you can get of this is standing up playing it, 100%. It looks great. So if your plan is to get the riser, I think you're going to be really happy with the way the screen looks.
Right. So it looks like they're doing... it's hard to say. It's definitely a better quality monitor than the Gen 1. Perhaps it's not as good as Gen 3. I was playing around with the Gen 3, and definitely Gen 1, you can have that viewing angle issue. It's really bad in comparison to the Gen 3. Like Gen 3, Arcade 1-Up, there's no viewing angle issues at all. This one seems to have a minor one, according to Ralph, when you're looking at it dead on, but it's not ghosty.
No,
That's our best description.
It's not ghosty, but it's slightly darker for sure. Like you'll notice it. Like, but if your plan was to get it with the bar top, which I think most people probably will,
right?
Then you won't even notice it.
That's right. Let's
see.
So
the camera may even be picking it up a bit because I'm not playing right now, but the camera may pick it up a bit. Although it's weird because I'm looking at the camera feed, and it looks brighter on the camera feed than it does here in the room. So it is interesting. I don't feel like the camera's giving you a valid representation. I just want you to know this to me in the room looks a shade darker than what you're seeing here. Yeah. The way you're seeing it on the camera almost looks like what it looks like to me when I'm standing and playing. That's the only thing. If I had to critique the monitor, that is a real thing. It does exist. I'm telling you, I'm not making it up. If I'm sitting down, it's definitely a little darker than when I'm standing up.
Right. So I think maybe we should take a look at the backside, the USB port. I'm not really sure if anyone's actually seen the backside of an NVSX.
Yeah, I can spin that around really quick. If just take me off the stream for a moment, I'll get that all set up for you guys, and then we'll take a look at what the back looks like.
Hey guys, so I'm the video you're gonna look at while Ralph is doing some stuff that he doesn't want you to see. But now I'm gonna show you a broad shot of there you go, Ralph. Now, very good. He's moving things around. So anyway, while we're here, we'd love to get a like from you, and maybe if this is the first time you've seen us, maybe you can double check and see that you're subscribed to us, because we like to do weekly content. Every Sunday we do a show at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or Pacific Time, I should say. Daylight time right now. But so today we're doing the MVSX, and we're doing a complete review. But we cover a lot of different topics, and I hope you enjoy the show that we're doing. And we want to get into the save states now, Ralph. After the USB, we definitely got to come back and talk about the save states. If you saw it inside the menu when Ralph was showing it, it showed 4 slots. I will give you a little sneak peek at it, or spoiler on it. There's actually there's 4 slots for MVS mode, and there's 4 slots for the AES mode, which I think it makes it really, really cool. So, you're not going to get those mixed up. You just have to change the different mode, but we're going to break it down and show it to you. And so here we go.
Yeah, so let me get that into focus really quick, but there you go. So in the back you're going to have just it's a power switch, so it's just a standard like push button power switch. You're going to have the USB port in the back, and then you've got just your standard AC power adapter that it comes with. Very similar to if you're used to an arcade 1-up, same kind of deal. Same sort of, totally the same thing. I think it's even the same voltage and everything as the arcade 1-up one. Now, I know you're going to ask, did I put anything in this? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. And maybe I even made a little bit of progress, but so far I haven't been able to get this to do anything. It does indicate that there's a USB port or a USB drive connected as soon as you connect it, but it's looking for what I believe it's looking for is an IMG file to flash the system. So it's looking for some kind of IMG file. The reason why I know that is that I did put a bogus IMG file on it just to play, right? Just to pretend if this was an image, would it work? It does show, it does like say there's one there, but it doesn't identify it. So it did show that there's something, there's an IMG file of some kind. But again, there's nothing, is the future capabilities, is probably a ton of future capabilities with that. But for right now, it's kind of just probably to flash it with whatever firmware they provide. But who knows? The sky's the limit. Obviously, whenever you have a USB port on anything in the home arcade space, people are going to try to hack it. But for right now, it's just there for firmware updates from Unico.
Right. And so this is another thing. Notice on the back, this does have a power button on the back. It doesn't have the power button on the front. So I was kind of thinking it through, like the arcade.
It's in a convenient spot though, like where when you reach over it. Yeah. When you reach around it, it's easy to just tap it. Yeah, it's actually not in a bad spot. I mean,
it's not bad. It would have been nice. Neo Geo is a little bit more grown-up games. So, like the Pac-Man, you kind of want it available for a little 5-year-old to go over and start playing Pac-Man. They can figure it out, but maybe put the button on the back. It's not a big deal. What I'd love to see is people keep on saying, could we spin it back around? If you can.
Okay. And do what?
And once you start spinning it around, because I think it's a really cool idea. It's something that we haven't tested. We can start doing some part of the show where we can start doing some live testing and take feedback from the audience here. So what we'd like to do, Ralph, if I can speak for everybody else, go change the language to what do we want? Change the language to Japanese. Is that right?
Is that actually what people are asking us to do?
Yeah, and then see if there's blood in Metal Slug. Like, did they
Oh,
base
shoot.
it on the language?
Oh, that's not a bad idea. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, wait. While you're there, why don't you
Oh, I
talk about
wanted
that?
to. Yeah, so a lot of people had questioned what this is. It serves literally zero purpose, and from what I can tell,
It's a Weedle small
I have
coin
no idea
door.
what voice you're doing right now, but it's super weird.
It's like a little baby. If you squint your eyes, that's a
Okay.
coin door, right?
No,
Is that
that's
Optimus
really
Prime?
weird.
No?
No, okay. I'm gonna pretend that
I
you
can
didn't do any
see
of that.
25 cents in there.
Oh my god! Can I please continue?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right,
We've been
hold on.
working on this for way too long.
All right, so maybe
it
you can
says
see it, maybe you
25
can't.
cents, dude.
It does say 25 cents, and it actually does say HAP there. It's so tiny that you can't even see it, but it says HAP. So, but this thing is not a sticker, guys. Hold on, I'm gonna back up a little bit more.
Yeah, get your fingernails in there. Let's try to take it off. Ruin it. Break it.
No, I can't break it. It's gonna go to someone else. Okay, so this is it isn't a sticker. So this is actually like a piece of molded plastic, and they've definitely dremeled out or whatever with a CNC machine. This has been CNC'd out, and so this is something that's embedded here. So my guess, I don't know this for fact, but my guess is that there's two screws holding this thing on. So if you took it out, I'm sure there's bare wood behind here. So you probably don't want to take this off. So if you don't like it, there were people that were saying, oh, you could just pop it off. But I think if you pop it off, you're going to have it's either going to be bare wood or black wood or something, but it will be indented. So I think you'll probably just be stuck having this on, unfortunately. If you really don't like it,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. It doesn't look like there's really a way to remove it. Now, the only other thing I'll say is these speakers, hold on, Justin, I'm going to get that tape measure really quick because I know I
Okay.
had that for a reason. So let me just grab it really fast. I'll be right back. It'll take me 2 seconds.
You spin me right round, baby. Okay, so we're taking a look at the speakers. This does have two speakers on each
God
side.
damn, this office is too small for this. Okay, so check it out. The speakers, I was
'Cause
measuring my.
we can't open it up, so we're gonna measure the grill.
Yeah, so the speakers are really tiny. They're like 2-inch speakers. So I do want to give you guys an example of, and it might be a little bit of an unfair example, but I did want to put the microphone up to it so you can kind of hear what they sound like. I don't know if you're watching on a phone or something, you're probably not going to get a really great interpretation of it, but it is kind of tinny. Like there isn't a lot of bass, but they're 2-inch speakers, guys. So 2-inch speakers are not exactly going to give you this like awesome audio experience. So like, you know how Zhang says, if you're an IA arcade guy, I know Zhang says his system is immersive. This one is not going to give you that. Like, he's got 100, what does he say it is? Like 1.21 gigawatts of audio or something.
Yeah.
This doesn't have that. So here, I'm going to give this to you really quick.
All right. Well, now he's just making it sound great. Yeah, so if you put your ear directly up to it, it sounds pretty good.
Okay, but realistically, it's probably sounds more like this. Like, you're not getting a ton of bass out of it. So just know,
Right.
like, hey, if you're buying it, like, I'm telling you right now, like, don't be disappointed. It's not going to have, like, a super bassy, it just doesn't, right? These speakers are super tiny. They're 2-inch speakers. So,
So far, if you buy one, what are you gonna mod?
if I was going to mod it, if I
Yeah.
was buying, okay, if you were asking me modding opportunities, I would say you'd probably mod for me, you don't have to. I'm not saying they're bad, but I'm saying I would probably mod the joystick to a hapstick, like put a red hapstick in. And then I don't know if I would right away do an audio mod, but there is a place where I was thinking it could maybe work. But again, we haven't gotten into it. But if you check this out, this is a cool opportunity here. I'm going to move the camera slightly. I feel like right there, under that marquee, if there's space, I feel like that's a primo opportunity to put
Right.
some, like, you could definitely fit, I think, like at least a 3 or maybe a 4-inch speaker right there.
Yeah.
That would be badass. And that's going to be firing more toward you, where this one's kind of firing in your gut. It still sounds good though, guys. I mean, a lot of people would say, "Oh, it's firing at your gut. It's not going to sound good." It's obviously not going to sound as good as if the speakers were up here. But I'm you know,
Yeah, so there's no
it's just
headphone
not.
jack. There's
Yeah. No, no.
like this would be a mod. This would be you connect the speaker audio directly to the PCB that's inside and put better speakers on it. Maybe that's all you need to do. Maybe throw an amp in it.
If I had to throw a guess out there, this is probably a very similar encoder board to what Arcade 1UP uses. So I'm guessing there's probably 2 leads going from each speaker to a breakout board, right? Like some kind of breakout board.
Yeah, it's probably identical to it, is my guess.
Well, how would you know it's identical to it?
Well, I don't know. Your uncle brought over that X-ray monitor, and we took a look on the inside of it yesterday, and it looked identical on the inside, but we totally didn't open it up at all. At all.
Don't get me in trouble. All right. Anyway, all right. So so what else is going on in the chat? Like, what other things are people interested to see? I know that language option, right? So we want to maybe get the camera rigged up.
And then the question is, was that audio on 100%? If you crank it up to 100%,
you want me to
go ahead, crank it up to 100%. Does that make a difference? Does it still sound tinny if it's at 100%?
Hold on. I'm taking off my own headphones real quick. I feel like that's a fair representation of it. It's kind of tinny. It just is.
Yeah.
I mean, but guys, what 2-inch speakers? What 2-inch speakers do you know that are bassy? You know what I mean? Like just they're 2 inches, so they could only do so much with it. It's not bad. It's just, you want a little bit of bass out of it. That might be an option that might be something you feel slightly disappointed about. You know what I mean? I'm trying to give you the realistic view of it. I don't want to sit here and say they sound amazing, but they sound decent for what they are. Right? They're 2-inch speakers.
Well, we got this guy in the chat named Jay Mason. He has a little logo MVSX. He says, "Justin, good show so far." So thank you very much. I don't know if he's affiliated with MVSX at all, but
he is.
All right, so let's check it out. Does it have blood mode if you switch to Japanese? Is that right, everyone? We want to try Japanese and just see if that changes
we can give it a
anything.
shot.
All right,
let's give it a shot. All right, hey, let me. It's just I'm like seriously stuck in this room, man. Okay, There we go. Did I mess with the camera too much, or is it still okay?
I think it's good right now. It's good.
All right, I tried to actually adjust it a bit higher. So what you should see to me, this should be slightly more vibrant, and that you do notice that. Like I said, I know I'm beating a dead horse on this. If you're playing it standing up, it's like super, super vibrant. So I hope what you end up seeing on the show on your end is you can kind of hopefully make that out a bit. So you guys wanted to go over. So to cancel out of a game, we didn't talk about this. You hit the options menu, and then you just hit exit, and you scroll over to OK, hit the A button, and you're back in the main menu. Now, you guys want to mess with the
language
settings. So
watch out, Jay Mason is watching.
What I need to put it in? I don't know.
I think it's that. Is it the top one? Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay, now I have no idea what anything says, but I do know that this is the back button, so we'll go with that. And then you guys want me to go to Metal Slug, right?
Metal Slug.
All right. And by the way, guys, if there's anything you want us to specifically do, give us a heads up and we'll do it,
That's right.
So, besides taking it apart, we can't do that. Plus, Jay's here.
Unless everyone in the chat right now,
if you say Jay, let them do it.
Say, Jay, let's do it. Jay, let's do it. And then if he says thumbs up, we're going to do it. No pressure, though. No pressure,
He's not going to give you a thumbs up on that. I can guarantee it. But hey. All right. So we're going to do insert coins real quick. So by the way, the select game button is your coin button. And then we'll hit start. I'm playing it all janky and goofy because I have to be on top of the machine. But we will see if there is blood.
Looks good. It's good, though.
There is no blood.
Are you sure you're in Japanese? Maybe you hit Chinese, traditional Chinese or something.
I don't know if I did. We can change it again. So we just have to. I think it doesn't let you change the language when you're in game. So what?
I'm just funny? You're trying to figure out how to change
I
the
don't know.
language when it's in another
All
language.
right,
Let's go to that one.
Okay, we'll just do the ones with symbols. Okay, that
Yeah.
sounds really bad, but we'll do the ones with symbols. All right, let's go back into Metal Slug.
All right.
Hold on. All right, what did I do? There we go. And we had to I had to show you guys the save states. We didn't even get there yet. See, I knew we couldn't do this in an hour because there's a lot to talk about. They did a really good job with the user interface. Like, there's a lot more options than we usually see on these things.
That's right.
Hopefully you guys can hear the sound okay. See how it says level 4? I wish you could adjust this, but you can't. You can adjust it in AES mode, though. But you can't do it in... Oh, shoot, what did I just do? Sorry.
Play it.
I'm playing it. Hold on. Is that really loud? Because that's really loud on my end.
Little bit. I only see sweat so far. Come on.
Negative on the blood situation. Can someone confirm that? Did Metal Slug 1 have blood? I can't remember.
That's another question. That's a good one.
Yeah, someone confirmed. I don't remember if it did.
And anyone do us a favor and double check for us which if all of them did or if it was just a specific one that had blood.
We'll go to like 4 because I'm sure by then they were like, oh yeah.
Now Jay did mention he's gonna talk to the team about blood and see if there's something they can do or if it was a miss or But Zohar needs his blood.
Zohar needs blood, dude. He's all about that.
So
I know he gets upset.
Sean Powers says Metal Slug 3 has the zombies puking blood, but then you'd have to make it to the second or third level, right? Which is not going to happen because Ralph.
No blood that I can see. Now we can switch to a different. I know we focus very heavily on Metal Slug tonight, but we can. Let's see. I'll try one more language here. Oh gosh. Okay, this is gonna be hard for me to navigate, but I think I got it. I've been working with this menu enough over the last 24 hours that I think I can do it without really even thinking about it. All right, let's go. Let's do that. Would you guys really go and change the menu to play it with blood, though? I guess you would, huh?
Yeah, if there was like
you guys want your blood,
option, that'd be kind of cool.
Right, I'm gonna stand because it's really hard to.
Hey, why don't we do the quick measurement? We're gonna do while you have the screen up once the game starts playing. So down in the chat, I'm going to put in, maybe you guys can help me with the math. So the old SNK games, including this, the Metal Slug, the original aspect ratio was 304 by 224. So can someone do the division on me? What's 304 divided by 224? Does anyone have that math? 304 divided by 224. You look at it. The answer is 1.35. All right, so that is our original aspect ratio. Doing that math. And Ralph, do you have that tape measure?
I do.
Go into the game though. Got to do it in game.
You're so bossy. This guy is unbelievable. He's so bossy all the time to me.
Well, you have to. Well, if you do it in the game menu, it's not good, right?
So bossy.
All right, go into the game.
I'm doing it. Hold on.
Do the width.
Bossy.
You're in pixel perfect mode, right?
I am. Hold on, I'm in pixel perfect mode.
It's so bossy. Get into the game.
Bossy.
All right, so measure. You see, there's a little bit of black bars on the side, but that's okay. Measure the leftmost pixel to the rightmost pixel in inches. It's fine. What do we got? 12.5?
12 and a half. 12 and a half.
Okay, so I'm going to type in a calculator. 12.5 divided by, what's the height?
Nine and a quarter.
9.25, and the answer is 1.35. So if you take the third decimal point, it's 1.357 versus 1.351. It's, and we're dealing with inches and quarters. He didn't get down to millimeters. They got the aspect ratio right. That's the answer. I'm
awesome, right?
willing to buy it just because of that. It has a little black. Like when we did the math earlier, and I was like, no way.
I thought you'd be a little bit more excited since you literally, for those that are new here, this guy, like literally, I think he would, if he could fall in love with screen resolutions, like if he could marry, if screen resolution could be virtualized into a woman, he would marry that person.
Okay, whatever. All right, so
Maybe that's stupid, but it's
it looks
true.
like no blood then, right? So what
I
else
mean,
do we
I didn't
want?
try. There's one more I didn't try, but I'm assuming that we've tried every freaking language here, so I'm assuming that we would have noticed that already, right?
Yeah.
Is everyone? I mean, do we want to spend any more time on that, or do you want to get into the save state stuff? Because I love the save state stuff, especially for fighting games, because you can come back to it because we're all grown men and women, and
Yeah, do you want to try
to spend.
do we try game saves, and do we want to try AES mode?
Yeah. I'll show you a game save right now. So let's just get into this game. So check it out. So I'm gonna jump up in the air, and I'm gonna hit the options menu, and I'm gonna.
Nice.
Oh crap! I don't know what that says.
Okay, we're
I
gonna
think this
start
is.
over.
I think that's save
No,
right there.
Yeah. Go to the right box. Yeah.
Aha! I
Game
don't need
save.
English. I don't need English. Screw English.
You don't need English.
All right. So right now it's a save state. So watch. I'm gonna move around. Oh crap! What happened to me? Options. This should be load, and I should be coming down from the ground.
I think you just saved it again.
Oh crap! I did. All right. Never. Oh, let me get to English. Sorry, guys.
All right, let's start over. We're almost there.
All right. Hold on. Give me 1 second.
So a lot of people asked before, does this have pause? You can kind of, right? You just press the menu button and you're kind of paused.
Yeah. No. Totally. You totally could do that. Yeah. So here we'll.
And then you
show you
can
that.
save your state and then turn it off and then go eat lunch and come back.
Yeah, so we'll do it the proper way this time. So just give me a second, let it boot up, and then we'll put in some credits. Play King of Fighters 2001. By the way, I know we haven't seriously talked about this for a while, but the emulation's really good. So I'm not really noticing anything off on the emulation front or anything like that. So that's promising, right? I mean, everyone that wants something like this is going to want the emulation to be good, right? So it seems like they did a good job making sure that these games emulated properly. I don't know what I couldn't tell you what they're using underneath as emulator, but all right. So I'm gonna jump up. So you watch me. I jumped up. I hit options. I'm gonna hit save. Okay, there's my save state. So I'm gonna actually exit back out to the game. All right, now watch. You guys know I jumped up and I was going down. So there I am. I'm flying across the screen.
Yep.
I'm going to say load, save state. You should see me falling back down. There we are.
Boom!
So those work great. And if you wanted to just pause
Boom!
it, you could just hit options if you wanted to. Like, options would technically pause it. Just make sure you don't go to exit. But if I did that, I could, let's say I walked away for a while, I could come back and hit back again. And it brings me right back into the game where I was. So just know that's kind of a cool feature, I think.
Right.
We don't see that a lot on systems like this. So, they did it on I believe they did it on the Neo Geo Mini, if I remember right. So that's kind of cool.
So we got to get into the chat. So we got a super chat. Thank you so much, Daniel May. He's asking Jay Mason, and we're going to read this out loud, see if Jay will answer. We'll make sure everyone knows about it if you're watching a replay, whatever. So he says, when will this come to Australia? Notice it's an Australian super chat. Is it a global release or North America only? It's a good question.
That's going to be a good one for Jay.
And Jay said earlier, referring to blood, he's going to check and see if they can do it, but there's no promises. That'd be really cool if you can, add blood, because then Zohar's going to buy 5 of them if you add blood. So.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing I'd say, since Jay is listening, is we talked about this earlier. The definitions for the screen resolutions are a little confusing. Like, typically in most of these systems, pixel scaling would be pixel perfect, so maybe call that one pixel perfect. This could be called pixel perfect with scan lines. I know this is just picky stuff, but it makes more sense. And then maybe you could call it like screen resolution and filter options or something like that. And then smooth scaling, I guess that sounds fine. But yeah, some of these are a little bit weird, like 40 degree. I don't really know what you'd use the 40 degree one for. That might be one where I just asked Jay like what you would use that for. I can't figure that one out.
But what's really the other thing, the H and V are actually subsets of the smooth scaling. So
yep,
you it's kind of hard. So maybe it would be like smooth scaling, H scan lines. I don't know. Whatever. Naming is words. Words are hard.
yeah, exactly.
So Jay did say that it is planned for Australia. So
Oh,
that's
nice.
awesome.
Yeah, a game that I have never played, but it comes up a lot is I think there was two Neo Geo golf games. I have never played either one of them, but people say this is one of the ones they enjoy playing. I think there's two of them, but I've never played it, so it'll be interesting to see. I've honestly don't have any experience with it, so one way or the other, I couldn't tell you whether I'd have fun with it. But there is a golf game on here, so they didn't leave
Yeah.
out sports. So speaking of sports, I can't believe that there's this many people watching that aren't watching football. So apparently we have a lot of non-sports fans that watch
That's
our
right.
show. So there's that. All right. Yeah, it's a golf game. It's got to be back to and forward to swing, right? I mean, how hard could it be? I'm Retro Ralph. I can do this.
So Kamesop asked, Jay Mason, are firmware updates possible? Is that possible?
I need to take a drink really quick. We've been going for a while here. I'm just going to take a drink really fast while you entertain people.
And I don't know if you caught, but like, Jay, it'd be really rad if you just let us turn this sucker around and unscrew it, because the next guy's totally going to open it up. And it's a little unfair that the next guy's totally going to open it up, then we can't open it up.
Did you see
He's
that?
gonna
That
do
did
it.
not. That was not good. I don't know if you saw. Oh, I see. You got to move. This is where you. Oh, crap. That's like the direction you want to go. Okay. I'm in the trees right now, and then. This
So
is
they
how
were
I golf in real life. So this is actually perfect. I'm golfing exactly how I golf.
So
in
this
real
game
life.
is like, it's like really good reality. So Jay says no news on the add-ons right now, but yes, we will have updates and adding games are possible in the future. And then Jay said no opening. So that's cool, dude.
So I just want Jay to know, though, that the guy he's sending it to, potentially, we know who he is, and he doesn't always follow the rules. I want him to know that we're being good boys, and we're following the rules. So I just want Jay to know that I'm always going to listen to him. I'm not going to break his rules.
I don't know what that means, but whatever. There's a lot of people that want blood, that's for sure. We want blood,
Is anybody
because-
even remotely caring how terrible I am at this golf game so far? I mean, it's really bad.
Does anyone ever care when you suck at games anyway?
Not usually, but I mean, I
So
don't.
Andre, I believe from Canada, says, thanks for the unit review, guys. This is awesome. I have to go. We'll rewatch later. Thank you so much for joining. Hit the like on the way out. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Andre. Appreciate it, buddy. All right.
Zohar's digging hard on this worst day of my life, Jay Mason.
Why?
Well,
Gosh,
I don't
Zohar
know.
can be rough.
So here, Zohar got really upset because Arcade 1-Up is on their 15th Pac-Man, and he's like, he's ready to get behind a new company. You give him blood, and he's now the biggest cheerleader for iArcade that you've... Or I'm sorry, for MVSX.
Wow, Justin.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, slip of the tongue there,
There you go.
Yeah. He said he's going to look into blood, man. Watch
Jay's
out.
a good dude. I've been talking to Jay for a little while now. It seems like it's been a long time. Actually, we've been talking about it since since that what?
Hobby Hand says, you're supposed to say, it already looked open.
Yeah, Jay, I don't know. There was like no screws on the back panel when I got it.
It just kind of fell off, right? I don't know what happened.
It just fell into my. I was like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Oh. All right, let's see. Come on, Ralph. You got this. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. Fair ball, and I bet I'm out. I'm not. Sweet. Okay, this isn't bad.
So to give you a review, right? So we've covered looks and aesthetics, the controls, the UI overview, which was way more in depth than I thought.
Hey, look, this guy's name's Ralph. Oh, crap.
Okay. Yeah. He sucks. That makes sense. So anyway,
No,
the game...
no, wait. Oh, does he suck though? Does he suck though? Does he?
right.
No, maybe
So
not.
we got,
maybe doesn't
and then we
suck.
got game overview and in-game options. We did the sound system and the monitor. So we'd love to hear from you. This is definitely the time in the chat where if you guys have any questions about the unit, we'll read that out. And if we wanted to dig deeper,
Justin,
you want us to show something again, we can do that.
More importantly, all bases are loaded right now. This is a big deal. This is a big deal. Hold on. Oh, no.
Oh. Ah.
Okay, I think we should at least wait till before we move on, I did at least see how this is going to go.
What?
Damn it. Yeah, I think this is going to be good. I just stole, this is solid right now. This is a solid performance by me. Damn it. Okay. I got this. I promise. You guys. Okay.
Come on, let's get a 1 into the chat. Everyone hit
All right.
1. Give
Never mind.
Ralph some
I'm done.
encouragement.
No, I'm done already. That's it. That's
Seriously?
it. Yeah, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah, well.
I'm no longer at bat.
This is
Okay,
the worst news ever. First, we
By
got
the
the
way-
no blood, and then you suck at the baseball game.
No, this game is
This is
actually
not going
really
to get
fun.
any worse.
No, I do not suck at it. Okay, what did we miss? I feel like there's got to be something that we missed. We didn't do everything. I feel like there's a couple things. We did save states.
So
we did all the different resolution options.
JP said, "When can we buy it?" That's a good question. Jay,
actually,
Jay,
so
do
I
we-
heard. Oh, okay, yeah, Jay. Why don't you before
yeah,
I
Jay,
say
are
something?
you there? Can we say anything about when?
Can we
when
spill
and
the
where
beans, so to speak?
Can we buy it? When will this be available? We're looking for your chat, buddy.
Spilling the beans, baby. Oh wait, no, just kidding. We're not gonna spill the beans. We would never do that.
What? Literally, you knocked over a thing of beans?
A
Is
can
that
of
what you're
beans.
saying?
No. All right. So what didn't we cover, guys? Give us anything. Is there anything you want to cover? I feel like we covered. I covered the
Did you
game
go into
selection. We
AES?
covered emulation. No, we didn't go into AES. That's the one thing we didn't do.
Okay, why don't you
So
go into?
All
we're
right,
going
we're gonna
to. So, Jay says, Zohar, I will ask about Metal Slug Blood. I promise. Ralph
So
knows by
now-
now. I follow through on my word. And he said
does.
it exactly that way, by the way, Zohar.
He does, and guess what?
I can read the way he's thinking.
Jay, I am sorry. I love Zohar is an awesome guy. He has become a really close friend of mine, but he's extremely obsessive in a good way and passionate. And I'm just telling you right now, wherever you are, he might possibly fly to you and ask you the question before he needs answers. So just Jay, the faster the better, because Zohar's like a spy hunter. He will find you somehow, one way or the
Okay,
other.
there's some good ones coming up, man. You got to follow along. So, first of all, go to Metal Slug 2. I see you, Neo Severa. Metal Slug 2.
By the way,
but also,
I am in AES mode at this point, so I just wanted to be make you guys aware of that. So I'm in
that's
AES
okay.
mode.
That's okay.
Boom.
Okay. Jay, Clax29 says, "Hey Jay, how does it lock onto the pedestal?" Maybe you can.
Oh, I have that answer.
Okay, go for it.
So guys, there's four bolts that go underneath the unit, and they is my hand raw. They go from underneath the unit. So there's 5 bolts that go
That's
underneath
scary.
the unit, and they just screw in from the bottom, and you can it'll secure it to the base, so you're good to go there.
Right. Very cool.
Yep.
So he wants you to play into the desert scene, and then maybe you can use your camera to zoom in. Oh, what's that?
Well,
Oh,
this
you're
is
in AES mode.
Yeah, this is AES
I
mode,
was
so you
like,
can
oh my
select
God,
your
it does
number
have
of
to switch. No, it's AES.
Yeah, you can say your number of difficult. You can say easy, normal. Oh, that's interesting. You can put difficulty MVS. So I guess it's the. I wonder what that
Same
does. But you can do normal, easy, whatever, and then yeah, just tell you go to how to play, which you typically see, and that's it. What did you want me to do with Metal Slug 2?
Play it.
Okay, I can do that. I'm gonna stand up if you don't mind, everybody.
Yeah,
Hey,
we
everybody, I'm
have
gonna
we
stand
have
up
learned
now.
that the best way to play the Neo Geo MVSX is standing up. So everyone buy that stand because you need the stand according to Retro Ralph.
Well,
And we're not
I'm
just trying to
saying
get
I
them to
enjoy
show
it.
more
I'm
stands.
saying I enjoy it the best with the stand. So I mean, I'm
Right.
a little bit. Also, I'm a very anal person about things. So, and everyone I think knows that who knows me well. So
Come on, let's go.
I'm going.
Okay,
Hold on.
zoom in a little bit on the on see if it's wavy in the background. Is what we're looking for. I see waviness. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Is that the emulation is simulating heat? Is
Hold on. I'm trying to.
we're looking
fix the
for
camera.
no wavy emulation issue? Or yes wavy emulation issue?
Is that capturing it okay, Justin? Or
I think so. Gonna see if so. Neo says yes. Good thing. Yes, I think he has the stamp of approval that a certain level of emulation has been performed. That's positive.
good, because so you can't see that waviness right now because it's only in the beginning, but I think it comes back in a second if I remember right.
Okay. Very cool.
Yeah, and obviously, if you guys haven't, if you're not big Neo Geo guys, you may know there is a lot of slowdown in certain Neo Geo games. That's actually in the original hardware. It had those slowdowns, and there were lots of things on the screen. So there's nothing odd or it's not anything emulation wise. If maybe you're just less
So
familiar.
here we go with
Neo
Zohar.
Geo.
Who cares about the wavy? Blood, blood, blood. We need the blood.
I know we'll get the blood, Zohar. Relax, bud. I mean,
Here's a good question. Does it save the high score? So,
well, we'd have to get a high score to save a high score. Right?
yeah, we were talking about this yesterday. We're like, yeah, he sucks at all the games. So,
That's
how are we
not
going to
true.
prove whether it does or doesn't
That's not
save the high
true,
score?
actually.
So,
I'm going to change the angle a little bit just to switch things up a bit. So I'm going to go a little higher up so you can see the control panel too while I'm playing.
Neo wants you to go back into the AES mode.
I believe I am still in the AES mode. So
And then go to the options, language Japanese.
I will definitely do that, buddy. I got you. So, all right. So we're going to exit this game really quick. He wants me to go to... Well, we don't know which one Japanese is.
Does anyone know which one is Japanese? We can... okay. Can you do
I have
focus?
no clue. Is it not focused?
Little camera
sorry.
focus. We need some camera focus.
Hold on. I'm trying to adjust my microphone here. This has been a challenge to do in such a tight space. So you tell me when we look like we're in focus.
Yeah.
Right
Right there.
Is that good?
You had it a minute ago. That's good. Let's go.
Can you actually read it though?
Oh,
I mean,
he says in the game. Go in the game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not the menu system.
Back to
go
Metal
into the
Slug
game.
2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry. Hold on.
And someone else said
All
the
right.
second one is Japanese, by the way.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Oh,
Yeah, the menu
my
doesn't
God.
matter.
Sorry, I was... Okay.
Language, Japanese. Go back.
It saved it.
Yep, you're good. Play the game.
You are so bossy, dude. So bossy.
Now go kill somebody.
Yes, got that part. No blood.
I don't see blood.
I'm sure they can fix that probably pretty easily. I know Jay is in here, so if there's anyone that can make it happen, it would be Mr. J.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well, we did. Let's see if there's anything else you guys want us to try.
I'm trying to think if there's anything we missed because we covered a lot today.
Did you could do a save state, AES versus MVS? I guess I explained that, but
You
it's kind
sure
of a cool
can.
point. So now we have a
sure
save
can.
state.
So if I go back to the game, I'm going to go over here on this side of the screen. You remember I was right here, right?
Yep.
So I'm over here. I was right here where the baby is. I'm going to go load. Should be right about here. Yep. Yeah, no worries on that. So I know we didn't talk a ton about it. I actually really prefer the Pixel Perfect mode.
Yeah.
I think this looks awesome. The Pixel Perfect with scan lines also looks really good. So if you're into like having it look more like a CRT, I actually really like that too. It's really hard to pick up on that on the camera. Like I can see, let me see.
So Jay, we got to teach you.
Can you see that at all? Can you tell that there's scan lines, or is that not looking?
I can tell
different
there's
to you?
scan lines. If you look over by that H, you can see lines in the H. You can see lines in the background. Can you guys see there's scan lines? Hit 1 in the chat if you can. And then Jay, we got to teach you. This is how it works, man. So if you want to talk about a release date, you have two options. In the chat, say when the release date is, or you're supposed to say soon.
How about this?
Everyone in
How
the
about
community
this?
loves soon.
How about this, Justin? Put Jay a little to the fire and say, when can they pre-order it?
There you go. When can they pre-order it?
When can they pre-order this thing? I
right,
was hearing soon.
Yeah. Is it still soon? He said soon.
All right,
Said
now
the
Jay, we're
pre-order
gonna
is
double down.
soon.
Now Jay, how soon?
It's like soon.
Jay, like
Ish.
1 or 2 days soon, or like a week soon, or like 2 weeks soon. How about that?
Or
We'll
like-
break it down into soon, like 1 to 5 days soon, or how about 1 to 7 days soon, and then 7 to 14 days soon. Yeah, he probably hates me right now.
Yeah. Most people do, so that's okay.
Yeah, it's true. Most people hate me, so it's fine. You're like my only friend, so it's fine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And you're a really good friend though. So if I was only gonna have one friend, quality over quantity is what I say. Right? And then everyone in the chat's a friend, so that's good. We've never
Yeah.
actually met, but hey, there was two things that we didn't show you. They're really not very interesting, but I'm going to do it anyway because we didn't do it. But if you go to this little question mark here,
Oh,
it
yeah.
actually has the little QR codes to go to the official website, the Facebook
Wait,
group.
wait,
Which
wait. Hold on.
What?
Officially, Jay says between 2 days to a week.
Oh,
I can't
see?
tell you. Sorry. Could be 2 weeks. So soon is much better than soon. So we
I
think it's a
like
month, but it's
Jay.
actually 3 months have still gone by and we still don't know.
You know what? I like Jay Soon versus
John D.
John
soon.
Soon. John Soon is like, yeah, I'll just kind of keep saying Soon. Where Jay's like Soon with like a range. I'm cool with Soon with a range, so I'm liking that. Maybe we could get John and Jay to talk to each other, even though they're competitors, and say, hey man, maybe you could do Soon with some like guidelines. That'd be kind of cool. But
Yeah.
yeah, you got the question mark, which gives you those QR codes. Here, I don't know what this is, like a copyright notice thing, and it's kind of funny. Jay, if you're here, just notice it like word wrapped the words, so it says software contain, and then it's end within, and it says
Yeah,
licensed,
just-
but it's yeah. I mean, no one really cares about
No
this
one really
license
cares,
screen, but
but-
I'm just saying if you wanted to clean it up and make the verbiage good, you could. But I don't know. Does anybody really care? Probably not. They just want to play games, right? So anyway, so that's so I'm trying to
Zohar,
think what.
he's really mad about this no blood. You got to get on it. If you make Zohar happy, you'll make a lot of other people happy. That's what I've learned. Hey, you
Yeah,
did
so
the
I
thing
don't-
where you gonna
Oh,
fix the
sorry.
camera?
Sorry, guys. Yeah, so I don't
Boom.
know. I don't know what else. I don't know what else we could cover. I mean, I could give you a little bit quick summary again or final thoughts. I could go back to the table. I did want to show one more thing though, Justin. I gotta
Okay.
say this.
Mhm.
This is like killer. So I don't know if you guys can really tell the detail on this control panel, but they did a really good job. So people had questions. Hey, is this control panel gonna? Is it? Is it? By the way, I can't. I'm not looking at the screen. Is it focused? By the way.
Adjust it a little bit. You, dial that focus in just a little bit, man. Nope, the other way. A little more. A little more. A little more. A lot more.
Okay,
Lot
come on,
more.
man.
Okay, good. Stop.
Okay, okay. So this is acrylic. So there isn't like, how people were saying, oh, well, I can't open it, so I can't confirm that it doesn't appear, to me at least, from, being around several arcades. This looks like it's reverse printed acrylic, and it is not artwork underneath. So that's really cool because people had questioned, oh, if it's going to be like a Wave 1 arcade run-up and they don't have a plexi over it, then you're going to damage you're not touching right here the raw artwork. It's a piece of acrylic with the artwork behind it, which is awesome. It obviously acrylic over time can scratch like anything else. Like I have an official NVS control panel, and it's scratched up a little bit over time, but you're not damaging the artwork is what I'm trying to say. So they did a really good job here. Even though it's not 100% perfect reproduction, it's pretty damn cool. And I know these things don't actually serve a purpose right now, but just the fact that they thought to add them is really neat because that
Yeah.
would have existed. I just think that's cool. Regardless, I could care if that actually has the credit number. I just think it's really neat. And then I do like that they have this granular, like the volume, this granular volume knob is actually pretty neat. Now, if you were looking at a regular standard MVS control panel off of an arcade, there's nothing over here. So it's not like they replaced something from the original to put this here. It would be just this black area. So it's kind of cool. It actually kind of ties it together because you have a button on this side and this on this side. So it kind of ties it together.
Yeah.
Quite nice, actually. So yeah, my only, do you want me to go down? Do you want to switch over to the camera and I could do some final thoughts maybe? And
Yeah,
we can
let's do
wrap
that.
ourselves up.
Just leave it there. While you use transition, I'm gonna answer some of the questions. Kind of a quick fire. So Chris asks, is it lighter than an arcade one-up? Well, it's not a very good comparison because what they shipped to us was just the bar top itself. So an arcade one-up is a much larger unit. Now, what they didn't send us is a stand, and if you go look at their website, you can see they have like was it 25 inches or 32 inches? I can't remember off the top of my head. But that stand, we didn't get. So it is lighter than an arcade one up, because it's obviously a lot less material. But it's kind of cool. So you can pay $450 just for the bar top, or you can buy it with the stand, and now it's basically the same height as an arcade one-up. If you already have one of those, you sit it next to it, it's going to be around the same. Someone asked about a second player. Again, the width of the control panel is around the size of an arcade one-up, so it's like a Street Fighter cabinet in that sense. The 2 players, if you think it was crowded to have 2 players on that 3/4 scale arcade, it's going to be crowded on this. If you think it's got plenty of space, then it's got plenty of space. Let's see. Do we have any other ones? Trying to look through here if we have some good ones that we can highlight. They talked about how much does it weigh. I think the weight of it is you were commenting yesterday, Ralph, that the weight of it was really heavy. It was like moving it around, but it's kind of weird because like an arcade one-up cabinet is also kind of heavy when you think about it, but it's like if you're moving it from one room to another, like kind of is a little bit of effort to.
Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, I don't have my chair, but have my hair been goofy like that the whole time? And no one, I can't see me anyway. No, I mean, it's not super heavy, but I mean, it's substantial. Like I kind of like it to have some weight to it, right? It feels solid. What is more what I mean, but it's, you can totally pick it up and move it. It's totally fine. It's not like
so
it's
if you're
hard
playing
to move.
it like yesterday, he was playing it like in his dining room. It wasn't moving around, that's for sure.
No, and it has these rubber feet on the bottom, which keep it stable. Like I have it on this sort of workbench thing, which by the way is about the height of their riser / stand. So I felt it's pretty comfortable to play on this. It's just like a little table I had it on. But yeah, I had a good time playing it. I prefer standing and playing it, but I'm not a huge bar top guy. Like I would actually rather have it stand up next to my other arcades versus be on a bar top. That's just me. I know there's people that just love bar tops. I'm not a big fan of the bar top, so I would prefer to match it with the riser. And if you're paying $50 less for it with the riser, makes sense, right? You're not paying the price if you buy it with the riser and when you first buy it. So I'm gonna get
that's
my
right.
chair so I can sit though.
Yeah, go for it. So as Jay was explaining the prices, and it's gonna be available soon. It's gonna be $449 just for the bar top. If you buy the bar top by itself and later change your mind that you do want the stand, pedestal, or riser, as it's sometimes called, that's going to cost you $100 extra. But if you buy it in a single bundle on day one, it's only going to that stand's only going to cost you $50 more. So in other words, you'll save the $50 versus waiting, if that makes sense. So it's $500 for kind of the recommended position. I mean, it's everyone else's preference. Like, there's a lot of people that watch your show that have already got several arcade one-ups or At Games Legends Ultimate filling their arcade space, and this is another unit they may add next to it. You're probably gonna want the pedestal or stand if that's what you're doing. You're trying to make that game room. You'll probably be pleased with that. But if you want to just buy it because you actually want a bar top and you already have a place for it, then yeah, just get it without the stand. Then it's cool they have that option.
Yeah, for sure. So there was a couple. I saw a couple more questions on. Did you try it in Japanese language on AAS mode? We did. So we actually Jay, who works with the product, is actually here on the live stream. So it's great. He's actually hearing this feedback live, which is awesome, so that he can kind of maybe see what he can do about those things. There's a couple things, there's a couple things like I said before where they're noticeable things to me, but they're not like don't buy it kind of decision things. It's just things I noticed. I noticed like, when you're playing it as a bar top at like eye level, it's slightly darker. It doesn't, I want to make sure that you understand, it doesn't wash out on right to left. It's just slightly darker in that band that I'm standing in. If I put myself up a little bit where I'm playing it above it like I would on the riser, I notice it's a little bit more vibrant and a little brighter. That's just an observation. It's something I want to let you guys know. I plan on using it with the base, so it's kind of not a concern for me, but if you plan on using it without the base, it may be a concern for you. The other thing I did notice is, the speakers are only 2-inch speakers, so you can only get so much low end and mids out of a 2-inch speaker. So it's not the greatest, but it does the job. It would be one of those things where if you buy it and you have a modification kind of mentality, you like to do things to your products, it might be one of those opportunities to do something different with it. The game emulation, is great. Like, I haven't noticed anything. Now, keep in mind, I didn't play all 50 games, but I did play a good variety of the games, and none of them did I ever think to myself that it wasn't emulating correctly or that something was off on emulation. No screen tearing, nothing weird that would, turn me off from the product. The other thing that Justin and I both are big fans of is we're fans of there's so many different ways you can display the image. So if you like it, pixel perfect, which maintains the original aspect ratio in every way, that's great. Just know you're going to get bars on the sides and bars on the top. That isn't something that they did to piss you off. They did that because that's maintaining the original aspect ratio.
That's just good math right there.
That's good math. So the one that's good math, and the one thing I will say there is now your 17-inch screen is going to be from a corner to corner. When you're in that mode, it's about 15.5 inches. So just know that, right? Just information here. The other thing, sorry, what?
Here's a good question. Do you think it's worth $499?
I do. I think it's definitely worth $499 when you think about it being with the included riser, right? To get it with the base unit at $499, I think it's a good value. Especially now, keep in mind NeoGeo is a little interesting. Like, it's kind of specific. I think either you were a NeoGeo fan or you weren't a NeoGeo fan, because NeoGeo would have been active in the arcades. I can't remember the exact dates that NeoGeo would have been active in the arcade. But if you weren't active in the arcade around that time, you don't have that like connection to it as much. So it's just, you got to kind of think about was it something that was nostalgic to you in the beginning? And we've over the past couple weeks, Justin and I have gotten this like plethora of people that love Neo Geo, so they're super excited for the product.
Mike says,
I think if you weren't,
1991 to 2004.
2004. Yeah. So yeah, I actually have 1990 to 2004. Believe it or not, you could have had a Neo Geo.
Whoa, Jay's talking about there could be a stand that's 36 inches versus 32. It's kind of cool. Now, we'll say, like, let's say, this channel, we cover a lot of Arcade 1-Up, and the Arcade 1-Up has a riser that brings the control panel up to that height that's pretty good. But some people have wanted, like, 2 more inches, So I wonder if going from 34 to 36 would make a pretty good difference. Or like the Star Wars cabinet does. Star Wars Arcade 1-Up cabinet does have a larger riser than the other cabinets. And a lot of people appreciate that additional height on that unit. So I wonder if 36 would do really well. People were asking about the attract mode. I have seen that several times, so I think we should. Did Jay, you have an answer on that? Because I don't think we ever stayed in the menu.
I think I had it in the menu. I don't think it goes to an attract mode when it's in the menu. You can put it in a game and it'll keep in that one game as attract mode. I could just double. We've been sitting at the menu for a while now, so it hasn't. I don't think it kicks into attract mode. However, if I select a game, it will act. If I select that game, it acts like that's the arcade version of that game. So if I'm not putting quarters or credits into that game, it'll just cycle through the game. The demonstration modes of the game, or the attract mode, as it's often called. So, someone did ask. They said, not that we're doing this as a comparison type thing, but they said, would I buy, which is better to buy, an MVSX or an iArcade? I think they're kind of like different customers, because iArcade doesn't have any SNK licenses. So it's not like I'd say, oh, buy that and you can play that and then some. So I think it's a decision of, depending on what kind of game types you want, you'd have to evaluate it for what's on the iArcade now versus what's on the MVSX now. So that's kind of more of a preference thing than anything else, in my opinion. At least right now, because one is just all Neo Geo focused. So just food for thought there.
We did review the iArcade when we were at CES, but it was a previous model. So they're going to kind of appeal to different people also, of course, based on the titles itself. And then the entire aesthetics are completely different. Like, so Neo Geo was a cabinet, for example, that I played at Walmart in the 90s. They actually had one. I heard about the AES console at one point, and I was surprised, and I got to play it. And but there was no iArcade cabinet in the 90s. Like, the look and feel, like, I guess you can get a Double Dragon look, but if you know what I mean, like, if you're not a Neo Geo fan, like, maybe you want to become one, and maybe that would be something that this would be interesting
to get into the hobby of Neo Geo. Yeah, there was a couple great questions. So one's a super chat from Edwin saying, can it fit in a bathing suit? It would be tough. It would be tough to fit it in a bathing suit.
I think the bathing suit is reserved for other products.
Yeah, it would be tough to fit this in a bathing suit. Thank you for the super chat, though, Edwin. I appreciate it. So Kev says speakers are better in the iArcade. That's not anything I can actually debate. the speaker system is like insane on the IAR on the IA arcade. You
And
know,
I
so
think
you're
we
not
were
going to get
playing
that.
with the 80-watt version, so
Yeah, and the 80-watt version was out of control. So yeah,
we were kind of thinking about that earlier today. Like everyone in the home arcade, they kind
they
of
each
like,
have like a nit, like something they're good at,
yeah.
right?
Imagine you have a pie and you have like, should we put extra money in this, in this, and this? And there's always like cons. It's like you're going to put all the money in the controls and buttons, but you're not going to pay any developers to build a really good UI. I don't
Yeah.
know who I'm describing, but I'm describing somebody, you know.
But yeah,
And then
so
another
like
one's like, we're going to put all our money into titles like Pac-Man and
yeah.
maybe lack in other areas. So
Yeah, I
Neo
mean it
Geo,
is
what's
tough
really
though
cool
cuz
is out of this one, it's like it has a really good emulation. It looks like, and it has all those various options. It looks like that's where it's really. That's what I'm really surprised about because when this came out, I was like 1280 by 1024. That's a 5x4 screen. They're so gonna stretch it, and I will never buy it. And I was
yeah.
wrong. I was dead wrong. We did the measurement, and I was like, oh, 1.35 aspect ratio. It's perfect. It's really, really good.
Yeah, yeah,
So I'm excited
it
about
looks
that.
great. Yeah, it does look really good. Now, one of the things we were gonna do for this episode, but the thing is, Justin and I had gone back and forth with it, and I'm like, I think we'd distract from the product because think about it, we're an hour and 42 minutes in, and we've done a lot of detail on this product, but
Mhm.
we were gonna put a CRT next to it running original hardware, but the thing is, it would have been really distracting, I think, to go from one to the other and back and forth. But you know, I'd say from playing a lot of Metal Slug and games like that that are on this same system, it seems to play really good. So I also, you know, I've played a lot of Neo Geo under emulation under Final Burn Alpha too, which is a pretty good experience for the most part as well. So I feel like I'm not sitting here thinking to myself the emulation isn't good or it doesn't look good or there's any kind of like artifacting or screen tearing. Like those kinds of things are very obvious when they happen, right? And I'm not seeing any of that. Also, like the buttons are really responsive to what's going on the screen. That's a huge deal with any kind of retro gaming because when you're doing any kind of emulation is how responsive is me hitting the button to me seeing the action on the screen.
Right.
And that seems to be really good.
Yeah,
Now,
we were testing that yesterday on
yeah,
FaceTime, and he's pressing the button, you know, and we were playing Metal Slug. So Metal Slug, it doesn't shoot right away. His hand movement animates up, and it seemed really fast. It definitely wasn't hundreds of millisecond delay, but
yeah,
you
for
know, it's
sure.
really hard to do that without proper measurements. But it looked good from casually looking at it. And you said you didn't feel any lag in there.
No, I mean, the thing is, I feel like that term gets thrown around a lot. Like, oh, it's laggy, it's laggy, it's laggy, and it's hard because unless you're actually going and doing true, real, like Justin and I talked about this offline for hours. Unless you're doing a
Hmm.
true lag test, it's tough to tell sometimes. But when it's bad, it's like
Yeah,
very obvious,
very
right? Like
obvious.
when
Yeah.
button lag is when input lag is there, it's very obvious. So it has to do with a lot. Like how many things do I need to go through before I get to the actual board and it's saying, okay, you just pressed a button. I'm
Right.
assuming this has probably very much like an arcade one up, probably has a very simple encoder board that everything plugs
Hmm.
into that goes directly into the PCB. Where you start to get a lot of lag on retro things is like, oh, I've got Bluetooth controllers, or and the Bluetooth implementation isn't that good, and now all of a sudden there's lag that way. So we
Right.
saw a little bit of that, not to beat them up, but we saw a little bit of that on the Legends Gamer product because
Hmm.
not only am I sometimes playing those games over Wi-Fi, so now or over cloud, I've got cloud lag, and then I've got
Right.
Bluetooth lag. So it's gonna happen and it's gonna be there. Where this product, I haven't seen that, but keep in mind, it's not doing anything from the cloud. It's all locally, you know, all the games are local to the device and everything. So I'm pretty happy with the way the games have played. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, a lot of these home arcade systems, Gen 1 of Arcade 1-Up wasn't great when it came to lag. They actually had an onboard scaler that was introducing some, and then the monitors itself were about 17 milliseconds delay. It was like 14 at the top and 17 at the bottom, which is about one frame of lag just in the monitor, which is actually really good. Some LCD monitors have several frames of lag. This one had 0 to 1, and it was pretty consistent. The top one would just be at 17 milliseconds. I'm guessing this is probably using the same or similar 5x4 monitor because the 5x4 monitor there's a common manufacturer that's out there, and their lag is pretty low. And some of the PCB boards that are on the market don't have a scaler. They output natively 1280 by 1080 or 1024, I'm sorry, directly from the SoC. And if that's the spec on the inside, then the lag is likely minimal.
Justin, could you do me a favor really quick? So I'm going to grab the Arcade Stick Pro because someone asked a question of how does it feel in comparison to the Arcade Stick Pro. I don't have that microphone hooked up anymore, but I think the camera still is. So maybe I'll just grab the Arcade Stick Pro and put them next to each other and just kind of, just so someone can see. Just give me 1 sec.
Yeah, so if you're just joining us, this is the unit that we were reviewing earlier. And so this is the Neo Geo MVSX. This is not on the official stand.
I'm kind of going to yell at you a little bit, so I don't mean to.
Well, you always yell at me, so that's okay. You know.
Why do you have it on my crotch cam? That's not.
Well, this is the that microphone really wants to know what you're talking about. So anyway,
okay, can you really just not do that? All right. So here's your arcade. Oh gosh, it's really hard.
All right, Dad.
Here's your Arcade Stick Pro.
Yeah.
I actually, do they feel similar to this?
Mm-hmm.
Well, these are
they're different styles, right?
These are convex buttons versus concave buttons. So I don't know if you guys can hear me, but these are concave. The other ones are convex. So they're slightly different. But as far as like how this joystick feels versus this joystick,
yeah.
What do you think? I'd say there's a little bit of a looser spring on this one, tiny bit, not crazy. Maybe a slightly looser spring, but not anything insane. And the buttons, they're different types of buttons. They're the concave buttons are a little bit different. Yeah, a little bit different. But I mean,
yeah, but is it clicky or mushy?
No. So these buttons are going to be a little bit like they're not clicky buttons, but neither are these. They're just they're like standard Sanwa buttons, right?
Right.
These aren't really clicky.
Right.
And neither are these.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
I mean, the good thing is so if you want to actually, crap, I can't really go back. I disconnected everything, so I can't really go back with the other microphone. I could try to really fast. Yeah, the one thing I'll tell you is,
did we cover the? So earlier, someone was asking about why 6 buttons to Jay, and maybe Jay, you can answer this. But when we were going through it, it was I kind of wish we could have had a better shot on it. But inside the in-game menu for the Neo Geo MVSX, there's the ability to change the button mapping for the game. And when you do the button mapping different, all six buttons are available to be able to change that button mapping. So if you're playing a game like Metal Slugs,
check.
You could.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. All right.
You want to switch over and show that?
Yeah. Hey, everybody. Wait. What? I was going to show something completely different. I think
that's fine. But just show. You can demonstrate with your hands. Like so, you got these 6 buttons. Basically, you can do different button mapping for each.
Yeah, you can
game.
totally do different button mapping. Yeah. And then I did want to mention this. I didn't. I'm not saying I did this. I'm just saying if you want to remove that chat, I can show you something really quick.
Mm-hmm.
I would be willing to bet that if you simply removed this screw, and this screw, I'm only going on this based on what it looks like. And I think this is really clever, by the way. I think this whole front... Here, I'll back it up a little bit. I think if you remove those 4 screws on each side, this whole front would actually come off. I think you could get the whole front panel off, which could be really cool if you wanted to change the buttons and the joysticks. It would be very, very easy to gain access to the control panel. You'd remove the 4 on this side and the 4 on this side, and I believe this would just come up.
It just kind of slides out. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, it just slides out. It would just slide forward.
Because what you're saying is those.
All right.
Clearly...
Is Jay still there? I got to come clean, okay? I got to come clean.
Put it back on my camera. Put it on main camera. Okay, I got to come clean. So, I didn't open it up, I promise, but I did. Okay, I removed the control panel, and I had to, Jay. I had to. Here's why. Because there's a... Why are you laughing, Justin? I did. I'm being honest. I removed it. Not on camera, of course. but I did it off camera, and this is the reason. There was a protective film on the control panel. And with the protect, I was like, oh man, the control panel doesn't look all shiny like they used to look, right? But that's because there's a protective film on it. However,
Right.
when I peeled the protective film off, some of it got stuck under the buttons. And I'm like, Jay would kill me if I someone said I called it. No, but it wouldn't have looked good on the camera.
Says, as long as it's not on camera, you know, so.
No, yeah, it wouldn't have looked good on camera because some of the film was stuck. And so I was like, oh man, when I do when we show this, people are gonna be like, why does it have the film stuck? And it just so happens that when I pulled it off, some of it got stuck. So the way you would fix that is you just go underneath the control panel, just move the button up slightly, and you could pull.
That's right.
The
And so he
off.
unscrewed those, and then he closed his eyes to make sure he could clean everything off. And then he put it back in. Remember that scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark? He's like, just close your eyes, Miriam!
Shut up. I'm being truthful, okay? And I'm sorry for misleading you guys a little bit over there. I was like, if you remove these 4 screws, yes. If you remove those 4 screws, it comes up. And it's pretty sweet because it's super easy to work on if you do that. And that is also how I know that front plate in the front has the 2 screws. I'm sorry, I wasn't honest at first. I'm sorry. I didn't want to get in trouble with Jay.
You got that butterfly
yes,
feeling
I
in your
feel like
stomach.
I got in trouble from my
You're like,
parents or something
oh
right
man,
now. I
I'm
feel
lying
really
to
weird.
people right now. I got to come clean.
I feel weird.
Yeah.
So, but I will say this. I'm glad I removed the film because it looks killer with the film off. Like that reverse printed, they did a very good job, Jay. The team that did the artwork did a very good job on that reverse printed thing. There you go. All right. Now I don't need this goofy microphone anymore.
That's right.
But yeah, no, it worked out good. I'm super excited. I promise you, I did not look at anything else. I said I wouldn't. I'm a bad liar. I am a bad liar. Trust me, if I ever try to lie, you know right away. The back of it, I didn't open up the back of it. So I don't know anything about the back of it. I just opened up the front because I wasn't going to leave it like that. Okay? So yeah, there we go. I did not Dremel anything out or do anything like that.
All right.
I also removed the blood because it's a family-friendly show. See, there you go. I'm the reason why the blood's not there. I removed the blood. So I knew the screw covers came off easy. They do. Oh, I see what Reset Rudy's saying when I popped it off for the little demo in the beginning. No. Wait. Oh, where'd it go? There was a question there. It was funny.
Yeah, so we got a couple super chats. We're going to go through them real quick. So, How to Bachelor Wi-Fi for multiplayer. I do not believe there's any Wi-Fi options.
No Wi-Fi.
Unit. Yeah.
No Wi-Fi. Yeah. So no Wi-Fi there. And then I guess, the interesting thing is this thing's going to make its round. So you guys should let me know what I should put in the box with it for the next person that's going to review it. I don't know. Maybe we could put some funny stuff in the box and then see if the next person that reviews it says anything about the funny stuff we put in the box, or if they just ignore that we put something funny in the box. So I thought it'd be fun to put something in the box since it's going to make its rounds. I don't know who's next though. I don't know who the next person is to have it. So
Yeah.
it'll be interesting.
I
Dremelled
think-
Ralph was here on the inside. Yes, I did. I did do that. Oh, but that's the thing. We could see. I know what we do. We can prove if someone's going to open it up because I'll stick my hand in through the control panel and put a sticker on the inside. So then if they're opening it up, I'll be like, you did it! You did it!
It'd be like Retro Ralph was here. Is that
Yeah, I'll be
what
like-
you're saying?
I'm like, Jay, look at him. He did it. I totally knew he would do it.
That's what he should have done. He should have put a warranty seal around it or something like that.
Okay,
to
this
see
is a really
someone
funny
cut into it.
comment. That is really funny. I'm gonna put this in the in the inside of it. I'm gonna shove it inside.
There you go.
It would be really funny though to put something inside, right? I think.
Yeah. That'd be really
I don't
cool.
know. Yeah, we'll see. Anyways, I think we're good. I think we're kind of done, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we covered a lot of bases. We're 2 hours in. We appreciate everyone hanging out for this long. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah,
We don't usually go
absolutely.
this long. But the one thing I wanted to mention, we
Yeah.
didn't even talk about this. So
What is it?
people ask sometimes, they're like, well, how many MVS games were even developed, right? There's 148 MVS games developed. So the interesting thing is this is 50 of that 148.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the AES side, there was 117, but keep in mind there, as far as I know, and I'm not an expert on the AES because it was the at-home version and it was super expensive. As far as I know, there's actually no unique AES games, I don't believe.
Mm.
All of them were games. Wait, don't forget to sign the side. Is he
Yeah.
serious?
Yeah, he wants you to put
No,
a big
like with
retro.
a real marker.
Is that right?
But Jay, I need confirmation on that because last thing you want is me signing the side, and they're like, "We meant the box." We're like, "Oh crap."
Zohar, earlier Jay did mention there's a future possibility because of firmwares and upgrades. The possibility of add-on games is there. The capability, whether they do it or not, is a different question.
Oh wow, this is crazy. I would never do such a thing. We're buddies. Oh, I don't really know him. I'm not buddies with him, but I would definitely not blow him up. I mean, live on TV. I mean, it'd be spectacular, but no, I wouldn't do something like that. Gosh, that little pixel's a good dude from what I can tell. So he's you guys thought I was brutal on products sometimes. Like, holy crap, he can go off sometimes, especially
he
on
wants
that.
you to sign the side with a marker.
Okay, all right, Jay, I'll do my best. I will sign that puppy.
All right, Ralph. So we do this on every single show. At the very end, well, near the end,
Yeah.
we do an impromptu final thoughts.
Final thoughts time. Hey guys, it's final thoughts time. So what do I think about the Neo Geo MVSX? Well, first of all, it was a surprise. It was like out of nowhere this thing popped up and everyone was like flipping out, right? So it's really cool to see another company enter the ring of the 3/4 scale. Now, did it live up to the hype? I think so. It's pretty damn cool. I'm having a good time with it. And this is the first all Neo Geo cabinet that's available unless you go buy the original, so that's pretty neat. There's some minor things that we found that we're not super fans of, the audio and a little bit of the screen stuff. And I also learned that Justin can do crazy math and somehow come up with an answer of some screen resolution thing that makes absolutely no sense to me, no matter how many times he explains it. And it makes me feel really stupid. It does. It makes me feel really dumb. Because the thing that you guys don't know is he explained it to me like 60 times before.
What? You
and I still
divide
don't
the
know.
width by the height, and now
don't
you have
know.
a common
you
number.
said I lost you at divide, bud.
16
Lost
divided
you at
by
divide.
9 equals 1.78. This is really
Lost you-
simple.
Lost you at divide.
Okay.
Sorry. And that's it. And we also learned that if Zohar does not get blood, he's gonna lose his freaking mind. So blood has become the new MK obsession, but we will get him the blood. I know Jay can do it. If anybody can do it, Jay can do it. I know he can. But if he doesn't, then I don't want to be around Zohar for at least a good 24, 48 hours, maybe even a year. Did I lose you?
No, that's
That's it.
I was wondering where you were going.
Did I talk
yeah,
about the speakers? I did talk about the speakers,
You
right?
talked
Did
about
I talk
the
about that in
speakers.
final thoughts? Yeah, they're 2 inches. You know? So it is what it is. They sound all right, you know? They sound okay for what they are, but if you want to upgrade those might be good options. Let's do a quick final thoughts on what I would mod.
Okay.
Because
The mod side, it requires music like this. Tell me what you mod.
All right. I know,
Go for
I think it's too fast, but
Yeah, a little fast.
all right. This final thoughts is all geared around modding. And what would I do if I was gonna mod it? First thing, replace the joystick with a IL Euro stick, a red one. If I was gonna want to save a few bucks, you could use the HAP competition red handle, and you'd be good to go. And you could get that at Tornado Terry's. Woo! The other thing I might possibly do is try to figure out a solution for the speakers. Maybe I'd upgrade the speakers. Keep in mind, none of these 3/4 scale products are perfect. It's totally fine by itself, but I never leave anything by itself. Everyone knows that. And then I would probably maybe try a couple more things with that USB option, because there's something going on there that Jay's not telling us. But hey, we'll find out eventually. And that's it. I think that's it. What else would I mod? I don't know. You could, I'm not lately, Justin, I gotta say, I've been less about full mods these days and more about enhancing the product. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
lately, it's just where I'm at right now. I'm more in a like, hey, I want to enjoy the product for what it is, but what can I do? Because I feel like there's modding to make something better, and then there's gut modding. And when you do a gut mod, then you're really just buying wood, right? So like,
Right.
at some point you're like, this is great wood, you know? So to me, it's like, it's cool to improve it with minor little things. Like ETA Prime said it really well in one video. He said, this was when Arcade What Up modding was like hot, like really, really red hot. And he's like, try to get out of this the cheapest you can. Because you already invested 500 or so bucks into it. So like make little modifications to and maybe enjoy it or enhance it a little bit better. But if you're going to gut the whole thing, then effectively you're doing a DIY project at that point. So there's plenty of companies you can go to just buy wood, right? So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
That's right. So we don't forget a couple things. So Retro Ralph, you are putting out a video that is more of a polished video.
So
hopefully
about that. Yeah, so about that. So it's 6 p.m. Pacific time. I have not one clip of footage recorded. So this should be about a 1 to 2 a.m. project, and then I'll be done. 2 a.m. Pacific time, I'll be finished editing, and there will be something. But I can guarantee you one thing, Justin.
What's that?
The intro will be epic.
That's right.
It's going to be an epic intro.
Will you have a coffee talk on Monday? So there's something that we got to talk about real quick. Is it next Saturday?
I am getting married next Saturday.
That's right. So this is going to be next Sunday. There's not going to be a One Up Weekly because Ralph is getting married. So everyone, this is your opportunity to say congratulations to Ralph. We'll see one more video out of him. Then he's going to take a little bit of break. He's got to give some, he's got to give some time to Kim, is what I'm saying.
Jeez,
and I don't know where that comes from, but we're gonna end the show with one quick message to Ralph. You ready, Ralph?
Sure. What's the message?
You ready for this?
I don't know.
This is I gave you one present, Ralph. For the T2, and pretty soon we'll do a video on the T2 that we won in an auction, and I think that'll be really exciting. That was my wedding gift to you.
Yeah, no, and it was awesome. I'm like so forever grateful.
I went
for
half
it.
C on it, right? It wasn't like I bought the entire thing. But then I was supposed to be there next week, and I couldn't be there, because of the world situation. So this is the best I got. This next moment's the best I got, Ralph.
Okay.
This one's for you.
Wow, dude. That was awesome. I feel like you just serenaded me. It was like kind of almost like I want you and I to get married, maybe. I don't know. Did I switch it? Is that weird?
That's really weird.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind.
No.
That was awesome.
It wasn't like that at all. It was more like if I was there in person, it would be fun, and you're my hero.
I misunderstood it a little bit. I thought maybe you were like professing love or...
No, I was like, you're a good
all right.
friend.
Never mind. I just
there goes my hero.
We'll erase that. We'll erase that. All right. No, that was awesome, dude. That really means a lot. It truly means a lot to me that you just did that. And it also means a lot that everyone hung out the whole time. We have so much fun on this show. This was something different. We haven't really done this before. This whole idea of doing a live review, it's tough because, what you would do in 10 minutes, it's like hours and hours of footage. We're trying to condense in as much as we can. And so hopefully you guys really enjoyed it. And I think that's it, Justin. I don't know what else to say. And I appreciate all the congratulations in the chat. That's awesome. Like, I can't even, you guys are great. I'm going to really try to enjoy this time off. So you're not going to see or hear from me for a little bit, just like 7 days. Give me 7 days off.
That's
so I
right.
probably won't, I don't know if we're doing a coffee talk. We'll see. Maybe. We don't never know.
All right. So everyone in the chat, you know what to say. We're going to wait for it. Type it in. We'll see you guys on the next one.
The next one.
Come on. Next one. On the next one. Give it to me. On the next one.
There's a delay, so it's going to take a little while. So now it's awkward.
On the next one.
Now it's awkward. Yeah,
Come on the next one.
You made it weird, dude.
That made it weird because I'm like sitting here waiting for someone to say on the next one. Now it's all weird.
Now people are like, you didn't do closing time, so although we appreciate that, you didn't do closing time. So...
Closing time. One last call for alcohol. So finish your whiskey or beer. Closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Let's do some voice doubling. So gather up your jackets. I'm not doing satanic closing time. Exits. I hope you have found a friend. Closing time. Every new beginning comes from some other beginnings. And yeah. And And that was it, because we will now really see you on the next one. And why am I
Take care,
doing this?
guys.
This is not
see you on the next one.
like lame.
All right.
All right, take
We're
care,
out.
guys.
All
We're
right,
out.
see you, everybody. Appreciate it.